The European Union leadership vowing retaliation after President Trump slapped higher tariffs on imported steel and aluminum.
The president removed the exceptions and exemptions from his 2018 tariffs on steel, meaning that all steel imports will now be taxed at a minimum of 25%. He also increased his 2018 aluminum tariffs.
It's 25% without exceptions or exemptions, and that's all countries, no matter where it comes from.
Canada is the largest source of steel imports and criticized the move as destabilizing for the global economy. Greg Clugston, Washington.
2 Venezuelan planes have returned home with about 190 Venezuelans deported from the U.S. The flights signal a possible thaw in relations between the two longtime diplomatic adversaries. It's also a victory for President Trump and his drive to get more countries to take their people back. Well, it's February, the dead of winter, and people across a huge swath of the country are feeling it.
We're talking about Kansas, southern Nebraska, into Iowa, northern Missouri, northern Illinois, including Chicago, including Milwaukee, southern Wisconsin, and much of lower Michigan. That whole area I just mentioned, anywhere 4 to 6 inches, a very good bet.
A lot of snow. National Weather Service's Brian Hurley says today the storm's moving from the lower Ohio Valley and central Appalachians into the mid-Atlantic, and that includes the big East Coast cities of Washington and Baltimore. The average American student remains a half grade level behind pre-pandemic achievement in both reading and math. That's according to the Education Recovery Scorecard, an analysis of state and national test scores by researchers at Harvard, Stanford, and Dartmouth. On Wall Street this morning, the Dow futures are down 105 points. More on these stories, townhall.com.
A new president is sworn in. America's greatness is being restored. And there's breaking news every minute. Now, tens of millions of Americans are turning off Fox and CNN and tuning in to Newsmax for the breaking information they really need to know. Reuters Institute says Newsmax is one of the top news brands in America. Find it yourself on all major cable systems and on your TV or smartphone store. Just download the Newsmax app for free and start watching. You'll get great shows with Rob Schmidt, Greta Van Susteren, Rob Finnerty, and Carl Higbie, and more. Find out why millions of Americans have made the switch. Even President Trump says Newsmax is terrific, and he's watching. So make the switch to Newsmax. Check us out on cable and satellite TV, or download the Newsmax app today. Watch us anytime, anywhere. Remember, Newsmax is real news for real people.
President Trump hosts Jordan's King Abdullah at the White House as a fragile Gaza ceasefire between Israel and Hamas appears to be in jeopardy.
President Trump has threatened to withhold economic aid from Jordan if it, along with Egypt, won't accept Palestinians from Gaza. Jordan is making it clear, behind the scenes, it views the Trump proposal as posing an existential threat to Jordan itself. The idea of hosting expelled Palestinians wrenches at the kingdom's already weakened fault lines. Its population includes millions descended from Palestinian refugees forced from the land that became Israel in 1948, alongside those whose roots lie firmly east of the River Jordan.
The BBC's Tom Bateman. Russian forces have targeted Ukraine's energy and gas infrastructure again, a massive missile attack, while Ukrainian drones struck an important oil refinery inside Russia. International efforts afoot to stop the fighting. News and analysis, townhall.com. New York hotels are on the DOGE radar.
Elon Musk says the Department of Government Efficiency found out on Monday that the Federal Emergency Management Agency sent payments of $59 million last week to luxury hotels in New York City to house illegal immigrants. Musk is now demanding that the Department of Homeland Security take steps to recoup those funds. Musk wrote on X, quote, "Sending this money violated the law and is in gross insubordination to the president's executive order. That money is meant for American disaster relief, and instead it's being spent on high-end hotels for illegals," end quote. Tasha Stevens reporting.
The Department of Justice has ordered federal prosecutors to drop corruption charges against New York City Mayor Eric Adams and to halt the ongoing investigation of the mayor. Adams says it is a politically motivated prosecution by the Biden administration. More on these stories, townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel witch and what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican world radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. Welcome to Mornings with Mike Winters. I am he. That would be me, Mike Winters. Happy Tuesday, everybody.
Yes. The second day of the rest of your life.
Yeah, kind of a little cooler.
Mm-hmm. A little breezier this morning.
Yeah.
It was actually downright windy.
Yeah, it was a Chile. And yesterday was a little Chile. I was appreciative for my coat yesterday.
Chaqueta.
Where it's that weird, like here's my dilemma this time of year with the weather and all that. Like, to navigate in life, I don't carry a purse.
You should start.
I'm thinking maybe. But like to navigate around life, I've got my, the phone wallet keys, those things. I usually have my iPad with me. I usually have my beverage drink. And so I have this bevy of things that but when I get in and out of places, I don't want to be carrying 37 things because then I got to open doors and all kind of stuff. So I usually have like my coat pockets so I can slide things. And so by the end of the day, I got one thing in my hand so I can do keys and all that. But when it's not coat season, it's a little harder to do that because there's only so many pockets in my pants.
So this is why I have a suggestion. And as a society, we need to bring back cargo pants.
I'm about to say, I'm about to.
Heavy. You know what? And here's what's funny. You got to be careful what you look up on places like Temu.
Right.
Because then you'll get nonstop bombarded ads directly for that thing.
Yeah.
I just randomly looked for, and this is the quote, tactical pants.
Tactical pants.
Tactical pants. And I'm telling you what, dude, these things have pockets for days. They got pockets inside the pockets.
Pocket in a pocket in a
It's
pocket.
It's pocketception. So now I'm getting nonstop targeted ads for tactical pants.
You know what? I might need some tactical pants.
I'm telling you. It
Do
seems
they
like
come
the
in
best
sweat
idea.
pant form?
They actually come in many different colors, lots of different materials. I'm sure you could probably get them in a jort.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I want something free flowing.
That
with lots of
or,
pockets.
and hear me out, fanny pack guys.
Ooh.
I mean, right? It's not exactly the most popular look, but if anybody can pull it off, it's these two schlubs.
I feel like, unfortunately, because we grew up in the time when all men had fanny packs.
In the time of chimpanzees, I was a monkey.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, no, but they're making a comeback, though.
But here's the thing. This is my point. It's
okay.
Like we grew up in a time when all the soccer dad to the guy on Venice Beach.
Sure.
The Rock kind of re-tilted a little bit.
Darn you, Rock, with your white turtleneck.
And so now I feel like if you or I pull it off, we don't look like The Rock wearing a fanny pack.
Well, no.
We're going to look like Dad bod 1994 dad.
Here's the thing. I just realized, relatively recently, I'm too old now to be backpack guy anymore unless I become a hiking guy, and then I can carry like a North Face. But that's a tactical backpack.
See, I would offer you can be backpack guy, but you got to be Gen X backpack guy.
Yeah.
Gen X backpack guy, he don't wear two straps.
No, I would always go one strap. I've never two strapped a backpack.
Well, that is how the backpack is worn today.
I'll say this. If I two strap a backpack, double strap it, I feel like I have to put my thumbs underneath it like this and walk like that.
The youngins today and people, it is socially cool, acceptable, and that is the way, is two strapped.
I'll go one further.
Yeah.
In the movie, in the movie A Walk to Remember.
I'm not going to know this reference.
There's a guy who does the one strap of the backpack, but he also takes the long strap that hangs off and he like wraps it around his arm, and he walks with it like that, kind of like whipped over the shoulder almost.
That's like a double security.
Kind of, yeah. It's just, I don't know why I remember that obscure reference from A Walk to Remember, but yeah, that's another way to do it.
Yeah.
But you can't go double strap on a backpack.
Well, now this is the way. But that's
I will say this.
When we were youngins.
I will go single strap on a regular backpack. But if you've ever tried to carry the Starlink backpack, you can't single strap that bad boy. That's like 40 pounds that you have both straps on or else.
Right.
I almost feel like I need a waist snap.
But I will also offer this. The youth's backpack of today is not the same as the backpack of our day.
Right.
Like pretty much every backpack nowadays comes with some kind of phone charging device built into it.
Right.
There is, a water dispensing vessel. There's really like stuff on. It's like a camo bag.
Is that a camel pack
with a battery charging unit? I'm like, mine had 6 pockets.
I had an East Sport.
Look, it had a thing where you put your pens. It's tropical color.
See, and that was the thing, because JanSport was the brand,
and that's the one I had.
But I had the Kmart knockoff East Sport.
Oh yeah,
that's the one. Or no, I think it was Eastport is what it was.
Something like that. Yeah.
But that was the one that we were rocking growing up.
But,
and hey, served a purpose.
But I remember, and so I think maybe part of it that may require the reason they have to go 2-strap, because I'm thinking their backpacks are weighty.
Yeah. There's a lot to them.
Ours is just mesh with a few zippers, and throw on some Velcro because they invented Velcro and they just found reasons to put Velcro on.
Yeah.
Which I'm not opposed to if we go back to.
If
we can improve Velcro. Because Velcro does lose its Velcro-iness after
a
certain time.
If you would please, Hook and Loop. Okay? Hook and Loop. The Velcro is the brand name.
I know.
You just Xeroxed Velcro. You just Xeroxed Hook and Loop.
I'm going to Kleenex.
Fasteners.
I'm going to Kleenex Velcro.
Well, Coca-Cola all over you. Right. By the way, I have to go pick my son up and take him to school, but I brought snacks for later.
Oh, okay.
I'll just leave it at that.
All right. Savory, sweet, gross, good.
Savory and good.
All right. Cool.
I've been looking for these and I finally found them.
Nice. Is our guest here? I've heard doors, but I'm not sure if there were. Nobody's here. Okay. I was just thought I heard like doors creeping, but I didn't know here. Let me give ye the rundown of what's happening for today's show. Here in the 7 o'clock hour, Dr. Keon Agar with Carabelli Dental going to join us here. He's not so much talking about teeth. He wanted to talk a little bit about healthcare as a doctor, dentist here, and things he's dealing with from the government side and healthcare and some of that stuff. It's he kind of wants to talk a little bit about that because he's looking at as healthcare professionals coming to the state and being here, some of the things it sounds like the state's doing from his perspective is really hamstringing that kind of stuff. So he wants to come on the radio and talk a little bit about that. So that's what we'll chit chat about with Keon here in just a little bit. In the 8 o'clock hour, around 8:15, Dr. Sean Powell with Eastern New Mexico University Roswell will join us. It'll be on the phone as Dr. Powell is in Santa Fe. Of course, as a lot of people are in Santa Fe this time of year with the legislative session going on. So Dr. Powell will join us via the tele today to give an update on what's going on over at Eastern New Mexico University Roswell. And then in the 9 o'clock hour, we're going to replay an interview we had yesterday. Maureen McGinn joined us, and she's having an event at the Roswell Public Library this Saturday in the Bondart Room. It's called the Blackdom Legacy Day event. And if you've ever wanted to learn a little bit more about the Blackdom, the campsite, if you ever driven down to Artesian, you see the historical markers about the Blackdom, and kind of want to know what's that all about. And so Maureen's doing a real discussion about the families and what was there, talking about some of the kind of research that she's found, the artifacts and things, pictures, all kinds of stuff of the history of Blackdom here in southeast New Mexico. And so she's doing a presentation from 1 to 4 at the Roswell Public Library. So we're going to play that interview for you here in the 9 o'clock hour. She actually the documentary, or her presentation also is going to include a documentary that aired on PBS about the Blackton site and all that kind of stuff too. So, and I believe she's going to be showing that at the library, and you'll listen during the interview, you'll hear about it. But I believe at 1:30 and 3:30 she's going to be showing those documentaries. So, and I'm going to guess it's a 30-minute because the last one's at 3:30, so the event ends at 4. So that's going to be my guess there. But that way you could see that too. So if you're not really familiar, you can watch it there, or it's a PBS documentary. I'm sure you can get online and probably watch it pretty easily somewhere. I don't know if PBS, do they have a streaming service, or can you just go on like YouTube and get their stuff? Because I don't know how that works. But anyway, I'm sure you can find it online and check it out. So, but anyway, we'll play that interview with Maureen talking about her Blackton Legacy Day event at the library this Saturday. Plus, we'll have all kinds of features, including newses of the local, national, variety, Wall Street business updates, all that good stuff. Hey, also don't forget the Historical Society for Southeast New Mexico. Today is their Dine to Donate Day over at Texas Roadhouse there from 3 to close tonight. If you get the flyer that you can get on the Historical Society for Southeast New Mexico's Facebook page, you don't have to have the paper flyer. You can have a digital version like on your phone to show them. So you could actually go to the Facebook page on your phone and show it to them. That all works too. But you got to present that flyer tonight when you go to dine in or carry out at Texas Roadhouse, and a portion of your meal cost they're going to donate to the Historical Society for Southeast New Mexico. So I invite you to go have dinner, or maybe a late. What's we got brunch. What's the meal between lunch and dinner called? Dunch? Snack? Just snack? I don't know. We're going to call it dunch. Maybe roll in at 3 for a dunch, and then stick around, come back around 8 for a dinner. But either way, invite you to do that, and just make sure you bring that flyer and help out there. Is our guest here? Yes. Ah, sweet. I thought I heard doors knocking and all that. It is 7:17. Let's do this. Let's pause for weather, and then we'll take a quick 3.5-minute break. And then Dr. Keon Agar from Carabelli Dental will join us. Don't go away.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We've got a low-pressure system moving north of us, and that'll cause gusty wind across the area today, up to 30 miles an hour. We will have sunshine, though, and fairly mild daytime highs in the upper 60s to low 70s. Well, the overnight hours very windy with gusts around 40 miles an hour. Few clouds, and we're in the upper 30s, and then less windy on Wednesday, low 60s, and we shall get sunshine. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Good morning, this is Smiley Wooten at the Roswell Livestock Auction. We sold 1,213 head of cattle on Monday with an uneven market with excellent buyer attendance. Compared to last week, stocker calves sold steady to 8 lower, feeder cattle steady to 2 higher, packer cows sold steady, packer bulls $3 to $6 higher, 3 to 400 pound steers $422, $480, 3 to 400 pound heifers $364 bucks, 4 to 500 pound steers $365, $422. 4 to 500 pound heifers $329, $360, 5 to 600 pound steers $330, $365, 5 to 600 pound heifers $3 $329, 6 700 pound steers $280, $330, 6 700 pound heifers $240, $3 7 to 800 pound steers $258, $280, 7 to 800 pound heifers $220, $240, packer cows $129, $139, canner and cutter cows $118, $125. Packer bulls $160, $170, feeder bulls $140, $145. The cow-calf pairs not well tested this week. Top half the bred cows $1,900 to $2,350 per head. Expecting another good run for next Monday. We do appreciate the business. Talk to you next Monday morning. This is Smiley Wooten, Roswell Livestock Auction.
Springtime is coming quickly, and that means it's time for the spring open house for high school students and their parents at Eastern New Mexico University. Join us Saturday, March 22nd, as we welcome potential students and their family members to campus. ENMU will feature campus tours, opportunities to meet with current students and professors, information on scholarships, and chances to win great prizes. Sign up today at enmu.edu/open house. Eastern New Mexico University. Student success. That's what we're about.
The ultimate Wi-Fi experience is now available to you thanks to Smart Home Wi-Fi with Plateau. Get fiber-to-home technology 100 times faster than average household internet speed. Plateau has multiple plans and options to fit your family. With Fast, get true 100 megs per second download and upload speed. With Faster, get true 500 megs of download and upload speeds. And with Fastest, you get 1 gig. Learn more at plateautel.com. Get the speed you need with Plateau. Tried, true. Have you experienced the Valley Cafe yet? It's much more than lunch or dinner. It's an experience. Chef Anthony Noble is a nominated Chef of the Year and manager with a 4.9 out of 5 kitchen cleanliness rating and a 4.8 out of 5 most loved rating. It's time for you to experience the difference that so many others already have at the Valley Cafe. Visit for lunch or dinner at 801 West Brasher, the orange building across from Church on the Move in Roswell. And save the Valley Cafe in your contacts. 575-755-EATS. 575-755-3287. Don't forget, we can cater your event too, and a portion of our proceeds go to the Dream Center in Roswell.
Attention Roswell, the all-new Roswell Ford is back and open for business for service, parts, and sales at our dealership at 821 North Main Street. Our goal for 2025 is to make buying a new Ford and quality pre-owned vehicle super fun, super fast, and super easy. In fact, we'll give you the price we give to a friend or family member right up front. Bring us any trade in any condition. Don't even wash it. At Roswell Ford, all trades are welcome. Making payments on your current vehicle and want out early? We can help. We'll take your trade, even if you owe thousands more than it's worth. Worried about your credit? Don't sweat it. Roswell Ford has partnered with even more aggressive lenders, all with great rates and terms for good credit, no credit, and even bad credit, with rates as low as 0% APR. Plus, we have a great selection of low-mileage, one-owner pre-owned vehicles in prime condition, starting at just $10,000. Huge savings, exceptional trade-in values, and a better buying experience. Get on board at Roswell Ford, 821 North Main Street in beautiful Roswell, or online at roswellford.com. 0 APR for 48 months is $20.83 per thousand finance, plus tax, title, and license with approved credit.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. U-Haul is the world's largest advertiser in the Yellow Pages. Too bad millennials don't know what the Yellow Pages are. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 22 minutes after 7 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning from Carabelli Dental, although wearing a bigger hat this morning.
Different hat.
His dentist hat today. But Dr. Keon Agar back with us.
Yeah. A dentist hat. I have. I actually don't own a dentist hat, but I should. I imagine it's just a giant tooth. Like I imagine like a sombrero or a cowboy hat, but it's like the middle is just a tooth.
Yeah,
like a molar
that.
or something.
Yeah, either that or maybe, I don't know. Study Sweeney Todd. Maybe there's some accoutrement you could do with that.
No, I need to work on my dentist hat. I need to, just so I know, like, when I talk to people, they know what I'm doing.
Like I feel like your dentist hat should be like an Inspector Gadget hat, where maybe
just
it's
lots
like a
of different
toothbrush that comes down.
Ideally, one day I'd like it to be have at least like the Homer Simpson hat with the beer cans.
Oh,
and that would be the end goal is to have that. But yeah.
And maybe we do that. One's got fluoride, one's
got a little toothpaste, a little beer. It's all about life's about balance.
It's like
life's all about balance.
Well, that's your work hat. Then you have your home hat.
Yeah.
Still the different things.
No, it's the same thing. The work hat, the home hat's the same thing. You should, yeah.
But anyway, we'll do this all day if I don't.
This will be a 6-hour show of Mike talking about hats.
But we really do want to, kind of put something on the radar of folks here, and this is, we as consumers, we always think, we want this, and you want the best doctors, you want the best, and everything in the world has a cycle. Everything's, there's perspectives on everything. Yes, we want the best doctors and things. Doctors are saying, I want to live in places that are really great and nice, but also want to feel safe to practice and be able to do.
Right.
And so when someone who spends a lot of money and time and effort to get their profession, their certifications and their training to be a professional, and they choose to practice these skills, they're going to want to do it in a place that's advantageous to them.
Right.
And you're as one of these people in the state of New Mexico, you're dealing with some stuff and want to raise the red flag on really when. I think some of the things we're talking about here are part of the reason why we are lacking healthcare professionals here, and lacking an ability to bring new healthcare professionals.
When I reach out to you to talk about coming on the show, I have to be honest, it's 100% selfish.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the selfishness of me being here to talk about the healthcare crisis, which that's what it is in New Mexico, is selfish. It's selfish because I'm a father, I am a son, and I'm a husband. And it's selfish because I want to live here and not die here. I want my parents to be able to live here and get good health care. And I want my patients to get good health care. You know, that's to me, it's like, so,
With
and
the
so
exception
what
of the patient's thing, you're wanting the exact same thing every other person that lives
absolutely.
here
Yeah.
wants,
And so I look around and it's like, and I think a lot, I look around. So we have this huge healthcare crisis, and people don't realize that. New Mexico is. I'm born and raised here. Okay, I grew up here. I went to public school. I went to UNM. I came back and did my residency at UNM Hospital. I am like,
this is your home.
Born and bred. This is my home. My family is here. All my roots are here. And I look around and I'm like, I have been watching us go off this healthcare cliff for years. Colleagues of mine have been talking about it. Everybody I know has been talking about it on the medical side. And we've gone off the cliff. I mean, just to be honest, and it's the red flag I'd like to call out is that, I'm watching all these things happen, and they are 100%, in my opinion, related to, they stem from our legislator. Okay, what's going on in Santa Fe, and sure, in this part of the state, Santa Fe is not always super popular, all that stuff, but regardless, we all live here.
They are the governing body of this state.
Right. And so we all live here.
Or laws that come out of that.
Right.
Yeah.
When you look at these statistics that we are either, depending on the year, 1 or 2 in the country for malpractice suits per capita. We are number 1 in the country for malpractice payouts. Okay. So what am I talking about? We're talking about malpractice when basically doctors are getting sued.
Sure.
Okay. We're number 1 or 2 in the country for doctors being sued year in, year out. We are number 1 in the country in every single year in doctors leaving the state. Okay, we are one of the few states in the country that has a net negative of doctors. Okay, that alone should be a shocking thing. But since in 2021, they changed a bunch of legislative stuff. They made all these different caps, and what caps are is basically how much a doctor can be sued for. Okay,
Gotcha.
They increased those, and since then, you can talk to. I talked to one of the private, family medicine doctors here in town, who's a wonderful doctor. She's amazing. I talked to her husband. Her malpractice doubled this year. She has never been sued in her career. But the insurance is just like home insurance. Guaranteed, my office flooded. Guaranteed my insurance is going to double.
Right.
Why? Because of the risk, right? And so insurance companies work like that. They come and say, well, Ruidoso had a fire.
Yeah.
Now there's a fire risk. And guess what? Your insurance is more. And eventually you get to the point.
You get a car accident in your home. Guess what? When in your home life, you get a car accident. Guess what? Your car insurance goes up to fix that.
In Clayton County, the only hospital in Clayton County last year almost shut down because they could not find an insurance company to take them on.
To cover them.
Okay. They came down to December 31st. The governor's office had to get involved. The state, insurance people had to get involved just to basically beg some company out of England to cover them because no one would take on their insurance. Okay. You can't own a house if you don't have insurance. You unless you can pay for it yourself, but you really can't. And so a hospital can't operate without health insurance, without insurance. Doctors can't insure. So when I look around and I'm watching what's happening, and there's a big report that came out, and I don't expect any listeners to read it, but it's 60 pages and it's actually a very important read. It came from a nonpartisan group. It's called Think New Mexico, and I haven't always agreed with everything they said. In fact, I think I disagreed with a lot of stuff they said over the past 10 years.
Sure.
But they came out, and the facts are: we're number 1 in doctors leaving. We're number 1 or 2 in doctors getting sued. We're number 1 in payouts, and our healthcare system is absolutely. And I think what people don't understand is, maybe they do, but you can't deliver a baby in Carlsbad.
I've heard a lot of places are not accepting, aren't delivering babies anymore. That's a thing.
Presbyterian Hospital, which is the largest hospital network in the state, stopped delivering babies because
they have to go to Artesia?
No, Artesia doesn't.
People in Carlsbad
have to go to Roswell. You can't deliver a baby in Artesia.
Wow. What about Hobbs?
I'm not sure about Hobbs. Okay. I think Hobbs, you can either go to Midland. I think they might have an OB there. But, there's OB groups here. But if you live in Artesia, you have to come to Roswell to deliver a baby. You live in Carlsbad, you have to come to Roswell to deliver a baby.
Yeah.
Well, why? Right? People don't understand.
Less than Roswell offering that service, too.
Oh, yeah. I mean, but that's the trend, right? I mean, the thing is and it's like one of those things that, you barely have enough doctors. but the system doesn't work. People don't. What I don't think our legislators understand. And I encourage people to call their legislators, and the legislators down here, I've talked to almost all of them, so far, and they are very supportive of this. They understand this because they live in a rural area, and they understand that, hey, we need doctors,
So some of the more urban representatives
yeah,
are a little,
I mean,
Albuquerque,
look, one of the biggest donors to politics in New Mexico, surprise, surprise, is out-of-state trial attorneys. Okay.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
I mean, it's just these are facts.
Sure.
Right? They are huge donors. Okay. Why?
Money is the puppet that moves things.
Right. I mean, it's one of those things that I would love to put a billboard up that says that your legislators work for trial attorneys out of state, and your doctors work for you but the thing is, the doctors, they want to be here. The doctors who are here want to be here, but they're leaving. I mean, they're leaving because people, what I don't think people understand is I'm not saying we shouldn't hold doctors accountable for stuff.
Absolutely.
Things happen, of course. That's why there's a balance of checks and balances.
Sure.
But when you sit there and look at it, and it's like
you can't do it at gunpoint either, and
right.
that's almost where we're getting to.
It's even worse than gunpoint because you could do nothing wrong, but there can be a bad outcome. Yeah, I do surgery for a living, and there are things that happen. People get dry socks, they get infections. I mean, and you manage them, you take care of them. But if I was, if, for example, there was a gallbladder case that happened and something happened, you sign a waiver, hey, happens. 1 in 200 people have this outcome. Okay. Well, that happened. And the doctor got sued for a lot of money, and they lost almost all their retirement. They lost their home in the suit, and they didn't do anything wrong, right? Just
it was that 1 in a million chance,
right?
Or whatever.
Well, no, it's 1 in 200. But it's a thing that happens, right?
Yeah.
And normally, and the person didn't die or whatever, but these things happen. So then
just
suddenly,
a tragic thing,
right? It's a tragic thing. It happens. It's just like cancer. It's tragic.
Yeah.
Having.
But that doesn't mean you get to sue the living daylights out of
right. And
doctor,
of course, you're upset. People want to be mad at someone.
Now,
and
if they can prove the doctor did a thing that caused that,
sure,
then there's their thing. But if it's just the dice rolled this
right.
time, then
but in New Mexico, so there's
that's where the difference is,
right? There was a kid in Silver City. Yeah. Okay, football player, young guy, was playing football, had a head injury. Okay. He ended up dying. He needed a simple procedure that should have been easy for pretty much any surgeon. You don't even need a neurosurgeon. But the kid died when he shouldn't have died. And the reason he died was because none of the doctors in that area wanted to take call because their insurances did not want them taking call. Wow. Okay. Because you end up in a situation where if you take call, you're dealing with things that are not. It's not like, if I work in my office, I'm dealing with things that I see but instead you walk into disasters, right? And this kid died, right? Kids should not be dying in New Mexico. I had a patient die waiting to see a specialist in Albuquerque. Okay. It took her 4 months to get in to see heart image to come go to the ER. Okay. And she ended up moving in with her sister in Albuquerque, or moving in with family in Albuquerque just to be closer to better health care,
right.
And so
from her perspective,
she went to the ER. She kept going to the ER. You need imaging. You need all this stuff to see what's going on with your heart. You're having shortness of breath. You're having leg pain. We need to see you have a cardiologist. Wait. She waited, and she was 2 months away from seeing her specialist, finally for that appointment, and she died. Jeez. Okay. And just died at home. And when they did her autopsy, it was exactly what everybody thought it was, that she just didn't see a specialist. She couldn't get in to see a specialist. And I personally, I don't want that for my parents.
No,
I don't want that for my patients. I don't want that for my wife or my children.
And at what point does the patient's family have a right to sue the insurance for saying, "Hey, you guys"?
Well, I don't even know it's an insurance, because it's really the state who is
the laws that are,
yeah. Why is it there's more neurosurgeons in Lubbock, Texas than there is in New Mexico?
I just also have a thing that if you're an insurance company and you're things that's what you're supposed to do, then you're supposed to do it. People pay a lot of money to do it. And
like healthcare insurance. I think about healthcare insurance.
Yeah, it's another debate altogether.
Sure.
But at the same point, I'm also thinking, like, when you get into these situations, like, wait a minute, I pay a lot of money for my healthcare. Your job is to get things like this done.
Right.
Why isn't that happening?
Right.
Too? And so I get your perspective. I think there's 7 perspectives.
No.
It's
not. It's one of those things.
Kind of where I'm thinking this is the big thing.
Right.
Because from the consumer perspective, your legislators and everything are like, we're here to protect you. We're going to make sure these doctors pay for when they kill your loved ones.
Right,
and all
absolutely,
that.
yeah.
And I'm like, yes, until you realize that it's like, hold on, what are we talking about here?
We're not safer when there's less doctors.
But and when does some of the onus fall on the patient too? Because I know for a fact that every time I've had anything, I've had doctors tell me do this, and this, and if I don't do this and this, and I have a problem with it,
sure,
it's on me. Like I'll tell you right now, I had one of my wisdom teeth, and this was before you, but many moons ago, I had the wisdom teeth, and they said, don't do this, or you're going to get a dry socket. I did, and sure, I did do it, but I didn't do it long enough or whatever, and sure enough, dry socket happened, but do I sue my dentist now because I got a dry socket?
Right.
No, that was my fault.
Right.
And so I feel like we also need to, we as a society, say, hey, stop, because you didn't want to do what the doctor said, doesn't mean you get to sue them.
Right, and so a big part of it is, and you look at it, New Mexico's laws are set up in such a way that pretty much any court case can be taken anywhere. Mm-hmm. Well, why is it that all these malpractice cases are taken up to Albuquerque and Santa Fe? Because the judges and the juries seem to favor more towards the patients, which I'm all about protecting patients. Like I want to protect
people's court for 100 years, and we all want to see
right
with the big
yay,
this guy got $1 million.
Right, yeah. But you look at it and it's like and so I think the onus does fall on people because they're voting in these we're voting in these legislators that are quietly taking kickbacks. They're taking I understand the want to hold doctors accountable when things go wrong. Absolutely. 100%. I have one of my best friends was wronged by a doctor in Lubbock. And it is a travesty what happened there. And that doctor should have been held accountable. And I don't think he was held accountable to that extent.
Sure.
But also, if you have a system where all the doctors are leaving, you are not safer and not getting, you're saying, hey, the owner should be on me. But I think I think as the state that has the third highest tax revenue per capita in the country, the people here deserve better health care.
Absolutely.
And
can I ask you a question just from your perspective?
Sure.
As a healthcare professional, is there a state or is there a region that's doing it right that you say we should model our healthcare?
Yeah, I mean
after?
Texas, Colorado, they have healthy healthcare systems. Arizona has a really good.
I just know what some of the big I'm guessing the devil's in the details. Like what are they doing right that we're doing wrong?
So you look at our neighboring states. Yeah, they all have you look at Texas. Mm-hmm. They have Lubbock, El Paso are phenomenal healthcare systems.
Right,
they're literally across our border, and yet they have phenomenal healthcare systems. Right. That are not struggling, they're not understaffed. They have all the specialists they need. Sure. They are doing great. I mean, you go further in.
All of us go there to get
everybody goes there to get health care, right? I mean, so you look around and it's like you go to Houston, massive medical center. They got MD Anderson. They got all this stuff. You go to Phoenix, they got Mayo. They got MD. They have all this stuff, right? You go to Colorado, they have UC system is massive, and it's all over the state. The number one respiratory hospital in the country is in Denver, is National Jewish. I mean, they have these massive specialty hospitals. And why do specialists who want to take on complex cases? Why would you come to a state where taking on a complex patient puts your entire life at risk, right? It's just common sense. So again, it's like, look, I'm not advocating I want good doctors here, but you also need good doctors that have backup, right?
Absolutely.
You've
got to support the good doctors so they want to stay here and continue to be doctors.
There was an 8, possibly longer stretch last year and the end of the year, which apparently is very common, where there was not a single pediatric ICU bed available in New Mexico. Okay. If you're a parent or a grandparent, that should terrify you.
Absolutely.
That if your child gets bronchitis or RSV, ends up sick and can't breathe very well, there's nowhere for them to go, right? I want better health care for my children. It makes me terrified to sit there and look at this. I'm like, it's crumbling. We have, to be honest, Mexico's not the healthiest state in the country, for sure. We need better health care than our neighbors, because of our health, because of the health of our population. But I look around and I'm, dentists don't even have a cap in New Mexico. They have a cap in every state around us, right? A cap means how much you can be sued for.
Sure.
Well, what I'm seeing is all the specialists who do surgery are leaving the state and they're not returning, Okay, and why would you? Why would you come set up shop here?
It's kind of like walking on a tightrope and to practice medicine in the state of New Mexico to compare to other states.
They're leaving. I'm not talking end of career guys leaving.
Right.
I mean, middle of their career. And people who have raised their families here.
Sure.
I mean, you also have. New Mexico, and not to be super down in New Mexico, but like I love it here.
Yeah.
My family's here, but like we have a crime problem, we have an education problem. But so it's multifaceted. But at the same time, I'm sitting there looking at it,
It's
I'm like,
kind of one of those things. Is like say all other things were perfect. Maybe they're thinking, all right, well, I'll hang out. But they're saying, look, I don't get the support I got as the thing. And by the way, the amenities aren't exactly what I want here. Why am I staying here?
Right. Or why would I come here?
Or why would I come here to begin with? Yeah,
right.
exactly.
A friend of mine who's not a physician, he had a death in his family. There was honestly just a healthcare system. He died. His uncle died in Albuquerque, and it was a situation where he shouldn't have died. Okay, it was just the hospital was overwhelmed. It was a preventable thing. Okay, the guy literally, they just didn't know what to do with him, so they put him on a ventilator. It was all during. It wasn't even because of COVID. It was because of he had a heart attack. But then the hospital was like, we don't have a specialist that does this stuff, so like we're just gonna keep him on a ventilator for months and or weeks or whatever, much longer. They finally got him in. They finally got him in bed after like weeks in a specialist, at Loveless Heart Hospital. Loveless Heart Hospital was like, why is this guy on a ventilator? He shouldn't even be on a ventilator. And they were like, we're asking them, we're like, well, we just didn't know how to manage it. So that's the best we could do. We were keeping him alive until we can get him to a specialist.
Sure.
So he ended up having damage to his vocal cords, couldn't swallow, ended up choking on his own spit and died. Wow. I mean, but this should not have happened. And when I talked to him, he was like, this colleague of mine, this friend of mine, not a colleague, but he's a friend of mine. I grew up with him, and he's sitting there saying, he's like, I look around, and he's like, not only do we have this legal system that is, our legislators have been privy to, our court systems have been privy to, and our juries have been privy to.
Sure.
We have this legal system that like really deters doctors from being here. But even if that wasn't bad, we're still like top of crime, bottom of education, all these other things. He's like, we should be going after these doctors even hard, like with more incentives than any of our neighbors. We shouldn't even be in the discussion of being like less than our neighbors in these things. We should be more than our neighbors to actually attract them to come in here because we need them.
Let me ask you this: because at the end of the day, you're a small business. You're a small business owner in Roswell, New Mexico.
Yeah.
What are the our bigger entities, our Lovelaces, our Easterns, our Presbyterians, all these national companies in some cases, are they I gotta imagine they're trying to work the legislature. They're I don't know if they've got lobbyists or whomever in there, but like, what are they doing? Because obviously you as the guy who hangs your shingle in Roswell, New Mexico, or your guy, you and Sarah just kind of doing your thing.
At the
end of the day,
we just take care of our community the best we can.
At the end of the day, you don't have the juice to make a difference in those circles. These entities do.
Right.
What do you know what's being done about this kind of stuff?
So I wish I could say I don't know. Honestly, I have for example, Warren Yell is the CEO of the hospital here at Eastern, and he's a really good guy. Warren has been canvassing. He's been talking to legislators. He's been doing everything he can. Sure. But he's doing it on his own, and his reason is like he's looking around. He's saying, I'm struggling to get my doctors insured who haven't even been sued before. Right? They're getting dropped from the insurances because the caps keep raising so high, and they're getting to the risk keeps increasing to the word. He's like, I'm spending all my time trying to get insurance to these people. But one of the problems is, and I agree with this. I discussed this with a trial attorney on a different show, and they were like, well, all these hospitals are being bought by private equity companies. And they're right. Absolutely. Yes, they are. Loveless, et cetera. Even Presbyterian is now being bought. Okay. Or possibly going to be bought by an outside company. Well, why? Well, the reason is because just becoming, it's being harder and harder to run a hospital here. Okay. And, so they get short sold. I mean, if you're doing really well,
sure,
and you're just, it's a really good system, and you have a really great brand, and you're just every year after year you're doing really well, and you're doing everything you're supposed to do. You're not getting sold on pennies on the dollar to some private equity company that's coming in to just venture capitalists to buy them because you need to be bailed out.
And I also know too, just kind of having conversations with county commissioners and city councilors and things like that over the years, in not just in Roswell but in other areas too. When it comes to how the state funds hospitals and things, because obviously hospital does a lot of work that for the government, basically, indigent funds, when you can't, you can't walk into an ER and they can't deny you health care.
Right.
Because the government pays them not to deny you health care.
Right, yeah.
But I also know this state has given a lot of hospitals the runaround, and counties and municipalities the runaround,
which is
on
crazy.
How indigent fund gets in there, which is another layer of why am I going to set up shop here if I'm not even going to get my indigent fund stuff?
Well, then you look at it and you're like, half the state's on Medicaid, right? Almost half the state's on Medicaid, which you look at the Medicaid fees in Colorado, they're multiples of here,
right?
It's just like, so, and again, there's another layer to the problems here. And the fact that they haven't, they're talking about possibly increasing them this year, but it's like, they don't even, if you're a federal employee, my dad was a federal employee, year in, year out, you get whatever inflation is, you get that as, automatic raise year in, year out. Well, why aren't healthcare systems doing that? Why isn't the state paying, why is it that, for Medicaid, the state hasn't increased 20 some years their fees for Medicaid dental, for example? They haven't increased them. Well, there's been a lot of inflation in the last 20 years, and so, and then the legislature sits there and like they celebrate that so many people are on Medicaid, and I look around and I'm like, well, who's taking it?
Right.
It doesn't matter how many people you sign up. You're looking at the wrong number. So anyways,
but that's government mindset,
right. But I think it's just one of those things. Yeah.
Okay, but doing what? I don't know. Absolutely. But we got people.
What the only thing I know how to do is call legislators, call people in Santa Fe.
Sure.
Anybody can call them.
Sure.
People don't realize, like, you voted them in. They work for you, and when you call their office, they need to talk to you.
I would also offer this out too. If you do have a decent relationship with your doctors, and
talk to them.
Yeah, ask their opinion when next time you're getting your checkup or whatever. Say, hey, I was listening on the radio. How does that impact you? What do you think about that?
Yeah.
Hear what they have to say, because I'm going to take a stab especially if you had your doctor, you're going to trust their opinion and stuff. Kind of like Keon's my dude from my teeth. When he says stuff, I tend to believe him.
No, but I have a lot of physicians who are patients of ours, and I talk to them, and like I said, we have a lot of doctors in our office who are come see us for dentistry and stuff, and so I talk to them about what's going on, and they're all just like one of the saddest things is a very close friend of mine who's an OBGYN who's probably delivered a third of the babies in the last 20, 30 years in this area. I mean, no kidding. I mean, this guy's amazing.
Kind of one of those ones like,
he delivered my children.
Sister.
Yeah. I mean, he has. And
goes into a restaurant, that one, no, not that one, but that one, yeah.
But when he's walking around, someone who loves this area, has dedicated his whole career to this place, says, if I graduated today, there's no way I would come here.
Yeah.
That's sad.
That's a horrible statement.
That's not, that's, it's like, and to say that, like, I can't, I dream of getting out of here.
Yeah.
Because, so that's not what you want from guys who have been the community backbone for delivering babies for 30 years.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's, when I just look, I think people don't know. And that's why I wanted to come on here and talk about it. There's obviously a lot of different opinions. One of the opinions I keep hearing from the attorneys is, oh, well, it must be the insurance companies, like the malpractice insurance. We need to hold them accountable. But then when it came around to it, after a while, they're like, well, if we start lowering how much lawyers can make, then then they're losing out on money. And it's like, okay, so really all it comes down to is, it's like, do you want a state that is good for lawyers, or good for patients? Well,
and I think in the big picture, just talking generally, like you said here, I think at the end of the day, and this is not just a New Mexico problem. This is a country problem.
Sure. Yeah.
I think we have too many entities making decisions on healthcare stuff. At the end of the day, all of this stuff should be between doctor, patient,
Agreed.
What's going on.
Absolutely.
The government should not have a say on anything in that conversation.
Insurance
should the insurance company.
No, agreed.
And both of those should just say, what did the doctor say? The one who's been to school and who's done training and been doing this for 20 years.
Who actually did evaluate you?
Yes, this is the person we should be, and everything that they say should be working towards. Now, I get it. If you get some, and I understand, not every doctor is a good person.
Sure.
I get that. I've seen enough LA plastic surgeon stuff going on. They can be bought and sold. But I also think if you set the table right, they won't have a desire to be bought and sold.
Right.
That's what I mean. They can do the healthcare. And so, and I'm not trying to, I'm just saying maybe we need to take a look at the whole big picture.
No, absolutely.
Say, when it
100%.
comes to healthcare, I get it should be something we all get easily, and it should be something that, we have to, and I understand too that, people live different lifestyles. I don't think you should be punished or not punished based on your lifestyle. Life happens.
Sure.
You eat a lot of food, you're diabetic. I hate to say this, but education for food and stuff is different today than it was for many people walking this earth that are my age and older.
Yeah.
And so what you think's this and that, and then you judge. I'm like, yeah, but you. And so everyone loves to judge lifestyle. But it's all about perspective and where you came from and what you know and what you didn't know.
And the stress you went through and then what your life looked like.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think healthcare comes into that. We need to just, it's like, hey, we need to start shut up and judge and just saying, hey, people need help. How do we help them?
Right.
And let's figure out a way to pay for it. Let's figure out a way to make it available to anyone that needs it.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things. I think without a doubt, you're absolutely right. There's more than one problem here. Right?
Sure.
There is a series of problems, and there's no one fix, right? But I can tell you that there's one big glaring reason that we're number one in doctors leaving, right? Now, if we fix that, which it's called tort reform, but that is just basically if we fix this malpractice situation, are they going to flood back to the state? Probably not. Okay, but that is the reason they're leaving, right? That's the reason they're flooding out of the state.
Sure.
So if we don't at least plug that hole, which is a very easy hole. They could fix it in a legislation. They could fix it in 2 days. Okay. They could literally put it to a vote and fix it in 2 days in Santa Fe. Whereas fixing the entire, the health of an entire state is going to take decades,
well,
right?
Let's start to get to the point where at least we're not a pariah to bring new healthcare professionals to the state.
Yeah.
And let's start there. So maybe shoot a letter to your
call them,
senators
text them, email them. Yeah, I mean,
representatives.
I'm not trying to. I think a lot of our legislators down here are totally very good. They're very understanding of this. It happens to be their counterparts up north, but
just tips, just based on my conversations with legislatures over the year. Be polite, be respectful, be direct, but also be very obvious that you are a constituent. Tell them you live in their district. Tell them, because I'm telling you right now, they will. They get inundated with so much mail,
right?
And so a lot of it's spam, junk. Ooh, one of my constituents, not junk. So please make it, shoot it from the moon. Put it in the constituent concern. Put that in your email subject line or whatever it is. But make that a point, and I guarantee your legislator will read it and put time and effort. Because at least I know for a fact all of our local ones will, because they've said as much to me and say, I carry much more weight when someone that lives in my district is asking me a concern or has
But it makes sense. Someone tells you a story, and that's really what it is.
Because they literally, like you said earlier, the biggest fighter is outside money coming in, and guess who they're attacking? Our legislators.
Absolutely.
So they get inundated with emails, and this because of this and that.
Yeah.
And they just want to hear from Jane or John Q. Public that lives in their district that has a concern, because that's why they're here, and that's what. And I know even the people you don't agree with politically, at the end of the day, they're there because of the people that live in their stuff.
That's why they're there. Yep. Absolutely.
And of course, if you need any dental help, of course,
no, not a plug for dental.
But I will tell you this: if you're having dental issues, me personally, Keon's taking care of me and my wife, and we're good people. So if you need teeth help,
well, I appreciate that.
He's good. He's good. He got.
We're good people on the other side too. You guys are great. You guys are great.
All right. Well, thank you, Keon. I'm sure you got a bevy of patience ready
to.
Like, why not Keon shut up and get in here and get on my teeth?
Time to go get on the teeth. Yeah, absolutely.
He does that at the office too. All his dental assistants. He'll be in here eventually. I swear.
Well, you're good company. So yeah.
Thank you as always.
Thank you, Mike.
We appreciate your
absolutely.
And thank you for everything you do, the community, because Keon's in here talking about this stuff, but he's also comes in here all the time and talks about, hey, we got a big free dental clinic coming on down the road. And this is something that...
Which we do have. We have one in March up in Gallup that we're putting on, and then we're doing one in Albuquerque, doing free dentures for folks. So,
excellent.
So, so we're constantly trying to give back.
Yeah,
you know.
That's what I'm saying. This is when Keon's coming on here, he's really a person that it just loves his community, and it's feeling like our community's getting hurt by some decisions being made in Santa Fe.
Yeah. So, anyways, thank you, Mike.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, sir.
You. And stay cool, warm.
Whatever it is.
Yeah. 7:54. We need to shut our holes to play some commercials because.
Someone's got to pay the
I
bills.
was going to say, no, one of them's not yours. So I was going to say, hey, because we got to pay good. No, because he's got to give me a check, so I got to pay him. But I got lunch to pay for. So a quick break before news. Don't go away.
The Roswell Symphony Orchestra presents Shearer Plays Vaughn Williams, Saturday, March 1st at Pearson Auditorium, featuring Dr. Jim Shearer, professor of tuba at New Mexico State University, in the Vaughn Williams Concerto for Tuba and Orchestra, plus Beethoven's 7th Symphony, along with works by Barber, Sibelius, and Mozart. Get tickets and more information at roswellsymphony.org or by calling 575-623-5882. Shearer Plays Vaughn Williams, Saturday, March 1st at Pearson Auditorium in Roswell. Sponsored in part by Dr. John and Ms. Deanne Kaysen and the Roswell Lodgers Tax.
When managing a chronic illness, access to the right treatments makes all the difference. Artesia General Hospital's Infusion Center provides IV therapy and biologic treatments, so you don't have to travel far for care. Expert infusion therapy right here in Artesia. Call 575-736-8256 today to learn more.
Are you ready to succeed? The health education programs at ENMU Roswell can set you up for success with a wide variety of courses such as emergency medical services, fire science, medical assisting, nursing, and respiratory therapy. ENMU Roswell can prepare you for a rewarding career in the healthcare industry. ENMUR stacks courses in order to get the student into a job as quickly as possible while creating a pathway for more advanced certifications, licenses, and degrees. Eastern New Mexico University Roswell. Success starts here.
Time to move into a new year at the Calico Cow Fabric and Gift Shop in Roswell. Valentine's fabrics are here and spring fabrics are arriving daily with a great selection of quilts, Valentine shirts, and rope bowls made right here at the Calico Cow. And Brothers sewing machines are on sale now. Plus, the Calico Cow can fix and perform maintenance on all brands. Out of town? Log on to RoswellQuilting.com to order. We ship direct. The Calico Cow Fabric and Gift Shop, 200 East College in Roswell. Want to know how? Come see the cow.
At Richland Motors, it's never been easier to sell or trade your current car, truck, or SUV for a newer model to hit the road in. Even if you don't purchase from Richland, they want to buy your vehicle for top dollar. But if you do buy from Richland, don't forget, they're the home of the powertrain warranty for life. That's a whole lot of confidence for you. See Richland for details, 2nd and Sycamore, and 1309 Southeast Main.
Now for your Pecos Valley news update, I'm Jared Cirillo. AmeriCorps disaster response teams have been deployed to Chavez County to assist with critical cleanup needs following the October 2024 flooding event at the request of the New Mexico Department of Homeland Security and Emergency Management. Volunteers from AmeriCorps are available to assist with flood debris cleanup, including mucking and gutting, fence repair, sandbagging, roof tarping, or other cleanup activities during the final debris removal operations in the county. Residents can call the Disaster Case Management line. That number is 505-670-4662. A bill that would bar oil and gas operations near schools is a step closer to moving to the full New Mexico House. The bill would also require companies to move existing drilling rigs and other facilities at least a mile away from any school building or playground. On Monday, the bill received favorable treatment in the House Energy, Environment, and Natural Resource Committee. That means it now moves to a second committee for debate and possible passage there. You're up to date. I'm Jared Cirillo.
It's time for the Chavez County Sports Report.
We got some boys basketball scores to catch you up on from over the weekend. Roswell defeated Clovis 69-50 to move to 18-5 overall, 2-1 in district play. They'll get another crack at the district leader tonight against Hobbs. That's a home game for the Coyotes. Starts at 7. Hobbs is 20-3 overall. Meanwhile, Dexter will take on NMMI this evening at 6:30. A home game for the Demons. They lost Saturday to Gateway Christian 62-47. NMMI barely lost to Tularosa 51-49. Monday night, last night, Gateway Christian defeated Hagerman in Hagerman 60-55. That's a non-district contest. Gateway Christian back in action tonight against Floyd, and Hagerman will be at Tatum. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell's Talk FM 106.5.
Your home for Sean Hannity in Roswell. 106.5, Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico.
At the global AI gathering in Paris, the U.S. takes a stand for free speech.
Vice President J.D. Vance has told a summit on artificial intelligence that the Trump administration would never restrict its citizens' rights to free speech.
We feel very strongly that AI must remain free from ideological bias, and that American AI will not be co-opted into a tool for authoritarian censorship.
He also used his speech to world leaders, tech bosses and researchers to repeatedly push back against what he called excessive regulation. I'm Karen Chamas.
Sounds like President Trump is running out of patience with Hamas, which has announced it's delaying the next hostage release, accusing Israel of ceasefire violations. Mr. Trump says it's unacceptable.
I would say this, and I'm going to let that because that's Israel's decision, but as far as I'm concerned, if all of the hostages aren't returned by Saturday at 12 o'clock, I think it's an appropriate time. I would say cancel it and all bets are off.
The president says cancel the Gaza ceasefire, let the chips fall where they may. Mr. Trump making good on his threat to slap 25% tariffs on steel and aluminum imports. Shares of American steel makers surged as a result. Paper or plastic? When it comes to drinking straws, the president says paper simply doesn't work, and he is repealing a Biden directive that ended federal purchases of single-use plastics, and that includes straws. A lot of people on Weather Watch this morning, watching for the snow. Wintry mess heading into the lower Ohio Valley, central Appalachians, on into the mid-Atlantic region. The forecast of heavy snow and ice. A lot of schools letting out early today or are closed altogether. Now on Wall Street, stocks are in the red. The Dow down about 78 points. The Nasdaq is off 37. The S&P trading 10 points lower. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Do you like pricking your fingers to test your blood sugar levels? No one does, but it's important to maintain your health. And now, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you don't need to prick your fingers anymore. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now. And if you have Medicare or most major insurance coverage, you may be able to get a new CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Shipping is free, and we'll even bill your insurance company for you. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn how to end the painful finger sticks and get your own continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
The Palestinian Authority and Hamas make opposite moves in Middle East diplomacy. The latest from the Media Lines Felice Friedson.
Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas has signed a decree canceling the so-called pay-for-slave program, in which families of terrorists killed or captured during attacks receive cash stipends. The program prompted a number of nations, including the United States, to withhold financial aid as long as it went to support terror. Abbas has demanded that in return the United States cancel the Taylor Force Act, which prohibits the aid by the U.S. government. Hamas, meanwhile, called a halt to the ceasefire hostage release, claiming Israel has breached the deal. In a developing story, Israel was reacting to the shocking signs of abuse and torture displayed by 3 hostages who were repatriated. I'm Felice Friedson, Town Hall News, Jerusalem.
News and analysis at themedialine.org and townhall.com. A slap on the wrist for going off script, the big game.
New Orleans police say they won't file charges against the cast member who displayed the Palestinian flag with the words Gaza and Sudan in protest during Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl halftime show. But the NFL says the protester will be banned for life from league, stadiums, and events. The NFL says the flag display was not planned and that the show's producer, Rock Nation, was unaware of the cast member's intentions. The banner combined the black stripes of the flags honored by the Sudanese and Palestinian peoples. One of the performers held it high while standing on the roof of the car that was the centerpiece of Kendrick Lamar's performance. I'm Haya Panjwani.
At a Valentine's Day, Customs and Border Protection says personnel at Miami International Airport have processed about 940 million stems of fresh-cut flowers. Around 90% sold in the U.S. come in through Miami, 10% through L.A. More on these stories, townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to our number 2. The Deuce. Of Mornings con Mike Winters right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Tuesday, everybody.
Con queso.
Yes.
Mornings with cheese.
I like con queso.
By the way, quick programming note. I am going to be sitting in the captain's chair tomorrow morning.
Yeah, I gotta. We just had a whole conversation about healthcare last hour. I got to go to Lubbock for an eye doctor appointment.
Mike, come on. You're not helping the situation.
I think I am. But yeah, so Sean's going to be, he's got the con tomorrow. So.
It'll be con Sean tomorrow.
Yeah. So.
Indeed.
Which, I think they got your show pretty much laid out. You're gonna have an interview.
Okay.
That I had with the Chaves County Federated Republic of Women in the 7 o'clock hour, and then hold on.
I mean, we can always do this after the show.
You know what? You get to do something that I said I was going to do, but you can do it.
Okay.
So Brian Luck will join you tomorrow.
Oh, fun.
And then the Roswell Refuge will join you in the 9 o'clock hour. They've got their Valentine's Day drawing.
Oh, yeah.
And
I believe I did the last drawing for the Refuge as well.
You get to pull the thing out because I have to be in Lubbock. So.
Fun.
But yeah, we're gonna do that tomorrow too.
Because I think last time they did the drawing, you were on vacation.
Well, now it's not vacation.
No.
I get lasers.
He's gonna get laser eyes.
I hope it's not being done by stormtroopers around the
Well, we lost another one.
That's right.
Let's throw him in the pile. Turns out they weren't trying to kill him, and they did.
That's right.
You know what? If stormtroopers would just stop trying to hit their targets,
right,
they'd be much better marksmen.
They'd be Jedis.
Yeah. It's about shooting where you're not shooting.
I'm not gonna lie. Some of the nerds make me giggle when they recreate these little vignettes with like Star Troops. It's almost always a stormtrooper, in some battle condition, and they're talking like, "Oh, look at this guy with the robes coming." Just the way they when they do. Oh, I could get this guy. They just run his head on the ground. No, you can't. You know, I mean, there's like a bunch of those style videos, and I kind of giggle every time I watch them. It just putting that, and it's all makes me laugh because of the movie Clerks.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
Because that whole conversation about blowing up the Death Star is like, and then we're all like, cheering the rebel lines. What about the poor contractor? Because the Death Star wasn't quite done yet. It's all about the poor guy who's fixing the wiring on the.
Yeah, nobody ever thinks about that guy.
He had a family.
Nobody ever thinks about the poor SOB that was just trying to fix the trash compactor that got broken.
Right. So that's every time I see those clips, it makes me happy.
I agree.
I don't know how I went down that rabbit.
Hey, it's morning radio, man. That's what happens.
Lasers.
Laser eyes.
Hey, I do. There is an event on Sunday. When we were talking about, of course, next hour we're going to play my interview talking about the Blackdom event that's happening Saturday at the library. Well, on Sunday at the Aeropuerto at the Roswell Air Center there, they're going to be doing the monument dedication for the 579th SMS nuclear missile silos. And at 1 p.m., what time is it? Let me. I said 1 p.m. That may not be right. Hold on. 1:30. There it is. Sunday at 1:30. They're going to do the dedication of the placard. It's going to be right in front of the air. That little I don't know, not a courtyard, but garden thing there. There's a few other memorials right there.
We'll call it a courtyard gardenette.
Yeah, that thing right in front of the air terminal there. They're going to do the dedication at 1:30.
Nice.
And love the public to come out. And what the placard is dedicating all the workers that died during the construction of these missile silos during the Cold War era here. And these are different. I think most of them were from this area. There was a few that were workers that were, migratory. They were going where the jobs were, kind of thing.
Right.
But I think, and so I'm hoping there's some folks that still have family, the descendants of some of these folks that may just happen to still live in the area. Come on out Sunday.
Absolutely.
1:30, Gertie.
There you go.
There, so
sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
So I brought snacks.
Oh yeah.
You want to do that this hour? Or you want to kick it around next hour?
Well, let's do it next hour because
sure.
I'm not. You know what? Now I think about it, am I supposed to call Dr. Powell or is he calling me? I don't remember. So I'll give it a few minutes and then I'll play the break and call him if I don't hear.
There you go.
But
sounds like a plan.
Just dawned on me. It's like we'd established the phone connection. We just established who's calling who.
Well, let's do have a few minutes. I want to show something. I want to show the camera and talk about something.
Yes.
I'm rather proud of this. I found a T-shirt that I wore to our Super Bowl party on Sunday. And I love this shirt. So it was one of those where I saw it on the rack. I literally laughed out loud at the store. So I'm wearing it again today. The shirt says, and I've already gotten a comment on it, I have a pretty granddaughter. I also have a gun, a shovel, and an alibi. The reason that's great is I have literally none of those things.
Yeah, you don't own one of those things.
I have a shovel, but it's like one of those garden spades, and it's not going to get anything done.
I think it came with a bucket for the beach.
Yeah. No, it's my Temu survival shovel. It's literally meant to bury a fire.
So if it's a Temu, it's probably the size of a pen.
Yeah, exactly. What is this, a shovel for ants? But yeah, so I saw that. I'm like, I have none of those things. This shirt is perfect.
So it's just ironically different.
Exactly. It's been a lot of fun. I like accessories or clothing that spark conversations.
I wonder what kind of shirts I would have that'd be ironical if I did that. I got to go.
Well, it's either got to be ironic in its wrongness or wildly specific. Is that your phoner?
Okay. Actually, it is my guest. What did he say here? When you go to... Oh, he's listening. Sweet. So he knows. Sweet. So he knows he's going to call me when I go to break.
Good. There you go. Nice. So we could have had snacks. That's fine. We'll wait till next hour.
Excellent. So, can you tease the snack?
I can show you.
Okay, let's show, and then we'll
show, and then we'll try.
Show and consume that.
So I procured, and this was completely by accident. I went to the corner store to grab a drink this morning, and they had the bodega, and they had these on the display.
All right.
So in collaboration with Oreo,
okay,
Post Malone has released his own cookie.
Really?
Now, normally you're like, okay, it's going to have his name on it, and what is it, just a regular Oreo? From the second I heard about these, these sound delicious.
Yeah, what's it? They look. Is there caramel on there? It's a lot of brown with the chocolate. What's going on
now
there?
this is their description.
Yeah.
Posties, swirled salted caramel, and shortbread flavored cream. So what that means is
it like a Twix and an Oreo?
No. What that means is the middle is caramel and cookie butter.
All right.
Caramel and cookie butter.
Sounds pretty good.
It sounds amazing. Right. So, and I've been trying to drop these.
Diabetes.
Absolutely.
All right. So
and
we'll try those here.
They also come in 9 unique designs. In case you ever want to have one shellacked and put on display.
And who wouldn't want that?
And who wouldn't really?
Actually, son, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make a coat.
Oh.
And those are going to be my buttons.
Nice. Right there? Real Oreo.
That's right.
I shellacked it.
That's right. So, all right, it's 8:14. We're going to do the weather. Don't call me yet, Dr. Powell. We're just going to do the weather. And then I'll do the weather, and then we'll do the break. Then call me. So he's listening.
He's getting his instructions over the air.
I like it. This is kind of a cool way to do things. Right? So, all right, 8:14. Let's get you up to date on the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We've got a low-pressure system moving north of us, and that'll cause gusty wind across the area today, up to 30 miles an hour. We will have sunshine, though, and fairly mild daytime highs in the upper 60s to low 70s. Well, the overnight hours, very windy with gusts around 40 miles an hour. Few clouds, and we're in the upper 30s, and then less windy on Wednesday, low 60s, and we shall get sunshine. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 35 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 70%. Winds currently blowing out of the north at 17 miles per hour. A term that I've never heard before was mentioned in the weather forecast today. Ask for it by name. The term patchy drizzle. Patchy drizzle with isolated sprinkles before 11 a.m., then patchy drizzle after 2 p.m. Partly cloudy with a high of 56 today. North winds 5 to 15 miles per hour, shifting to the south later this afternoon. So expect patchy drizzle. I don't know what that means, but I guess we'll know it when we see it. For tonight, some more of that patchy drizzle. Mostly cloudy, then gradually becoming mostly clear with a low of 34. South winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Wednesday, mostly sunny. Back into the 60s, 62 for a high with west winds at 5 to 15 miles per hour. Tomorrow night, mostly cloudy, overnight low of 28. West winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Thursday, sunny, 56 for a high, north winds 5 to 15. Friday, partly cloudy, back into the 70s, 72 for a high there. But Friday night, we're looking at a 20% chance of rain, mostly cloudy with the low of overnight low of 42. And then looking at the weekend, sunny and 64 and breezy on Saturday. Sunny and right near 60, 59 for a high on Sunday. And then President's Day Monday, 71 and sunny. So warming up for Monday there. All right, it is 8:17. We're going to take a quick 3-minute break. And then Dr. Sean Powell with Eastern New Mexico University Roswell will join us on the other side. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Over the next several weeks, we want to give you 5 key elements to a great marriage. This is taken from an article by Drs. Les and Leslie Perot. Hi, this is Pastor Troy and Julie Smotherman for The Joy of Marriage. The first one is ownership, taking responsibility for the good as well as the bad.
1 Corinthians 11:31 says, "Judge yourself so you won't be judged." It's talking about the judgment of God, but it also applies to our relationships, especially the ones that are closest to us, like marriage. If you'll just take responsibility for your own actions, it's so much easier for our spouses not to have to point out and criticize us.
So we have to take responsibility for our actions and our reactions, our attitudes and our mistakes. You know, most people would learn from their mistakes if they weren't so busy denying them.
You aren't responsible for what your spouse does. You are responsible for doing your part. So just decide today to do your part and take ownership.
Hi, everyone. This is Melanie from Glenn's Furniture. Valentine's Day has been a time-honored tradition of expressing love and affection for the wonderful people in our lives. Why not honor them with the comfort and new smells of furniture from Glenn's? Leather, wood, and luxurious fabrics are beautiful reminders of how much they are loved for many years to come. Skip the roses and chocolates this year and give gifts that last. Come see us at Glenn's for Valentine's Day on the corner of Union and Alameda, where delivery is free since 1953.
Whether you're a homeowner, a landscaper, or a contractor, we all have reasons to dig. If you're planning to dig, this is just a friendly reminder that locating underground utilities is important. It's actually the law. Call 811 3 days before you dig. New Mexico Gas Company is one of the utilities that will come out free of charge to mark our underground lines up to the meter, so you'll know what's below. We're New Mexico Gas Company, and our priority is keeping you safe. That's why we're here. Learn more at nmgco.com.
Space, the final frontier.
Hi, Captain. You can choose your space at Main Trailer Sales.
Fascinating. Don't cling on to that old camper. The logical choice. New Durangos, Montanas, Cougars, and Passports from Main Trailer Sales. They allow space and comfort. Boldly explore like never before.
Beam on board to that perfect camper.
Don't go camping without us. Live long and explore.
Main Trailer Sales. Don't go camping without us.
Have you spent a lot of time trying to whiten your teeth with no real success? Here at Carabelli Dental, we have a solution. Get that perfect smile you've always wanted with veneers. Veneer treatment is quick and minimally invasive and will provide you with a confident smile in just a couple easy steps. You deserve to love your smile, so don't let another day pass you by without calling us to start the smile design process.
Come see the team at Carabelli Dental at the corner of 9th and Main in Roswell, or call 575-622-4455.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Turtles can breathe through their butts. We imagine you know some people who do that too, because that's where their heads reside. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 20 minutes after 8 o'clock, and joining us on the phone this morning from Eastern New Mexico University, Roswell, Dr. Sean Powell joining us. Good morning, Dr. Powell. Can you hear me okay?
Good morning, sir. I can hear you loud and clear. How about my transmission up there to Roswell?
Getting it loud and clear as well. So very good. So I'm guessing like many folks here in Santa Fe, doing a lot of legislative session type stuff right now. I'm assuming.
Yes, sir. It is legislative session up here, and I just want to express appreciation to all of our local legislators. You know, it's an amazing thing with redistricting. Chavez County now has 9 senators and representatives that represent us or are part of the Chavez County area. And so I get to interact with the 9 of them in terms of working on our capital outlay requests, but then also working on legislation that might affect higher education, career tech ed. So yeah, a lot of effort going on, and appreciate all the work that people are doing up here in Santa Fe to support our local community and the campus.
Yeah, I would imagine, it being a 60-day session, and for folks that have spent any kind of time in New Mexico know that, every other year we have the 30-day, 6-day. This year's a 60-day. 30-day really focuses on budget a lot and getting that budget passed, where 60-day, there's a lot more conversation on, hey, what can we do with other money? So I'm guessing, when we do have 60 days like this is where, entities like yourself in Eastern get to really try to make some headway with our legislation and say, hey, these kinds of programs would really benefit our college, and here's why. So I'm guessing you get a lot more of that this go around than say next year will be.
We do. Yeah, we get opportunities to talk with the legislators obviously more. There is a bill, and I don't know its current status, to move the legislative sessions instead of doing the 30 and 60-day to a 45-day each year. So I don't know how far that'll get, but there is a bill out there calling for changing the structure. I don't know if it'll happen or not, but that's another concept to do. But yeah, during the 60-day session, obviously there's more time, and they take on larger projects outside of the budget, and they see what funding is available statewide to meet the state needs. And so that's kind of where we are right now.
So it's from your perspective, from an Eastern New Mexico University Roswell perspective, is your focus more on the programs and things, or getting money for like infrastructure to create more, when we talk about like our capital outlay stuff and people vote on this, and hey, we're working on our automotive side, we're working on this thing, and so is a lot of your efforts now kind of steering towards that type of thing, or more about the curriculum side and making sure the X's and O's line up kind of thing?
So it's really both, Mike. Right now, we have a project that's getting ready to start pretty soon. It's a geo bond that we did a couple of years ago. If people remember, it was the fire sprinklers in 3 buildings, and we appreciate all the support there in Chavez County. But this is the time where we're looking for funding to make sure we can finalize that project. And then also, in terms of capital infrastructure, we've got some walkway projects that are going on, and there's going to be some other projects, the nursing expansion program. The state's been very helpful with those. So we look at those larger capital projects, and then also we look at particular programs. So, for example, right now, we've got some requests in for a new boom lift for aviation maintenance to help out the students learning how to work on the wide-body aircrafts more and the larger aircrafts, looking for some welding replacements. Some of our welders out there in the new welding shop are 20 years old, and so we want to get some new MIG welders in there to help out and really train students to be industry ready when they leave. Things like that. So it's really both programming needs, and then also the issue is looking at capital projects. And New Mexico has lots of checks and balances, I'll just put it that way. And there's lots of times where we get to go back and forth between the state and, the local electorate, especially on geo bonds, because they all go through a legislative process twice.
Sure.
So that geo bond that was approved back in November there in Chavez County and statewide, appreciate all the support for our aviation maintenance building expansion. Well, that's getting final approval this legislative session after the general election to figure out when they're going to sell the bonds to pay for that and get that done, get those projects going statewide. So lots of checks and balances,
lots of checks anyway.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I did want to throw out a couple of things. We are having classes, of course, right now, and then our second 8-week term is going to start March 10th.
Okay.
And so if folks are interested, we don't have as many classes. We talked about this before,
right.
that second 8-week programming, but we do have a set of courses that will be offered. So if someone's interested
these are kind of ones that are higher in demand. Ones that more demand for, and so they're saying, well, hey, we have more people needing this. We can't meet the need in a regular normal term. Hey, maybe we can offer a condensed, more intense, because this is the thing. You're not getting less curriculum. You're just getting less time to get the same amount of curriculum. So you gotta be a little on your game here a little bit. But if you want to do this is a great way to get ahead and to try to, if you're say you're trying to get that degree early, or if you're trying to do something to get that promotion at work, you can knock it out now rather than having to wait until summer or fall to do it. So
right, and like you said before, the earlier you register, the more opportunities you have to sign up for different classes. And I would just encourage folks to explore those options, get online at our website, roswell.enmu.edu, and check out what options are available, see what courses are coming up for that second 8-week term. If you're interested, and go ahead and start enrolling in those, contact our advisors to get registered. I did also want to do a shout out. Yesterday, each year they do a higher ed adult education day, and they recognize certain students who have completed their GED or high school equivalency, if you will.
Nice.
And we had a student that was recognized yesterday, and Ashley came up and she did a great job. It was her first time to be in Santa Fe, first time to be in the state capitol. So it was really a moving event for her, and I want to express appreciation to her for coming up. And then Hilda Pacheco Peoples and some other individuals from our adult education program came up, and they worked with her, and she was recognized not only in the Capitol Rotunda, but all of them were recognized as a group on the House floor. And so, going through that as an adult, I mean, we associate a lot of that with younger groups that come through, but yeah, this is mostly adult students that are coming back, and it's like, wow, you did accomplish this, and we want to recognize it. So I thought it was really.
And I think it's also an inspiration to others, because there's a lot of folks out there that You think, oh, well, I've hit a certain age in life, and you can't teach an old dog new tricks mindset. And I'm thinking, that's not true. There's so many people in, quote unquote, starting a second life, in their 40s and 50s, and saying, I want to go back and do this. And so I love that, to see this, because I'm hoping it inspires more people that kind of want to do that, but for whatever reason think, well, I'm too old to start doing that now. You know what I mean? It's easy to get in there. So more of those, and I'm glad when they shout those to the rooftop. So it's a good thing to see.
Yeah, they did well, and as I said before, I think our age range for the fall semester, I don't have the numbers for the spring semester yet, but it was 14 years old to 77 years old were the age range for our students in the fall.
That's right. The joke that from the womb to the tomb, we got them all.
There you go. There you go. Then I want to just draw some attention to a couple of things, if you don't. So the way I look at our campus mission, and this is going to get into a more serious topic, but that's the pre-warning, right?
Allow me to butter the things first.
There you go. Yeah, nice transition. So, our mission on the campus is to enrich lives through learning. Mm-hmm. And really, when I think about a community college, a branch community college, our focus is on meeting student and community needs. Mm-hmm. And so, toward that end, the campus has been involved in numerous activities with the issues that happened, the floods, the fires over in Ruidoso, the flooding that in Roswell.
You were kind of the mecca for many different tragedies in the area. The meeting point, the rallying point, things like that.
We were glad we were able to help out as we could. And what I want to let folks know, and I don't know if this has been advertised the last couple of days or not, or if it's been out there, but there are 40 AmeriCorps volunteers who are in Roswell to assist in flood recovery relief. Now, I don't know, other than they're officing on our campus.
Okay.
They contacted the city, but the city didn't have space for them. And then I got contacted, and we were able to find space for them on campus and let them use it. We're proud to do that because we're part of the Roswell community, part of Chavez County.
Absolutely.
And I don't think, and again, I don't think their efforts are going to be confined just to Roswell. I think they're going to be working probably throughout the county, Dexter, Hagerman, Lake Arthur, whatever efforts need to be done. But there's 40 of them, and they're supposed to be here at least a month. And again, I'm not on campus right now. They started Monday, and again, we're offering some support for that group to.
I imagine if folks have questions, they could probably call the main campus number and get redirected to their offices if you need to, right?
Right, and I think also the city of Roswell is probably the primary point of contact.
Okay, so maybe call City Hall. Okay.
I would so, and again, I've had email conversations with their lead from AmeriCorps, but I just wanted to mention that is ongoing. And as you and I know, and we've talked about, the flood recovery, the relief efforts, those are going to be ongoing for quite a while. And some of the things that are going to be required are skilled laborers. And so from a campus perspective, we're looking at increasing our career technical education options, both in the healthcare but also technical side, to add to programming that's needed, and we're exploring those options now. And along those lines, what we really want to do is have more skilled laborers and healthcare professionals who are available for Chavez County and in the city of Roswell, Dexter, Lake Arthur.
And it makes sense, too, because, no matter what future does, future's going to do and technology's going to thing, and how we do things may not necessarily be the same. But at the end of the day, we all need a place to live. We all need to eat. We need to drink. We need to stay healthy, and we need to have good health care. And so those needs are going to be met. And so you guys are looking to stay on the cutting edge and saying, hey, we're going to be the place that trains the people that can do these kinds of things.
That's what we're hoping to do, and we want to partner with our industry partners, not only the aviation maintenance organizations that are out there at the Air Center, but also the company BuiltWise and what they're doing. And I know some of our students and graduates have already been hired in that facility. But in order to fund this and to get these additional programs, we're in the early stages of exploring a mill levy increase in Chavez County, and and our mill would be for the whole county. We'll be doing a survey. We'll be having focus groups on campus.
Sure.
We'll be getting back and
get
trying
people's
to
thoughts on that.
Really what we want to do in terms of adding to our career tech ed programs. And the best way to have that perpetually going into the future is through this mill levy increase. But again, we're in the very early stages of exploring it. Our community college board authorized the exploration of it, and if it turns out to be yes, it looks like we could get this going and people would support it across the county, then we would ask the community college board at a later date to come back and say, okay, we have the information now to either move it forward or that we need to do more education in the community about what their needs are and more services. But yeah, it would include the students in the school districts. So going from Lake Arthur, Hagerman, Dexter, Roswell, I've been in touch with the superintendents at each of the school districts, letting them know we're in the exploration stages of this, and going through that dual credit program, trying to get more opportunities for them.
Yeah.
And just depending on which school they're at, I think a lot of times we look at the whole county, and as you know, the availability of resources and educational options varies across the size of your community. And so if we can help across the whole county, we want to do that.
Well, and the types of things that you guys are looking to try and invest in the future, and in providing these services to get these qualified people, I don't think in the big scope of things, you're not going to see people coming from the outside world rushing to live here, to build houses, to be HVAC worker. You know what I mean? They can do that anywhere. I think if you want to see these things happen, we need to grow it from within. And how do we do that? Places like Eastern New Mexico University. You know what I mean? That's what so I look at this and like I look at like just my 2 cents worth here, because anytime people say, hey, you want more money? Whoa, and everyone gets bulky and whoa, not my backyard, buddy, and all that. But you look at these kind of things and I say like right now you look at Eastern New Mexico University Roswell and two of your big programs that you're trying to get more students to get involved. You guys invested more money, more resources into are two really of the greatest needs in our country right now. And if you go, like, one is the aviation industry. And if every day there's a different crash, a different thing. You know what I mean? This is I don't care what anybody says. We can blame politics all you want. This is a result of I think COVID still, and a lack of training and a lack of qualified individuals in these jobs, because all the people retired, and I think we're still fixing that kind of stuff. The other one is healthcare. We don't have enough healthcare people, not just here, but everywhere, but specifically here. And so I think by getting people here, trained here, that want to live here and be here, this is how we do this. So we need to invest in that type of thing. And that's kind of, and so, we're looking at this now, but you guys are kind of looking at the next generation, the next thing. We're going to need these. We're going to need, hey, you just saw the results of the flooding. We have a lack of skilled professionals that can do the types of work that gets rebuilt from this. Maybe we ought to offer more trainings and better facilities to do these kinds of things. So this really, at the end of the day, this is what this meal levy is setting up for. And if I'm wrong, please tell me. That's kind of what we're going on here, right?
No, that's the plan. You've nailed it right on the head as far as, our intentions in trying to, again, meet community needs and help reach their personal and academic goals and professional goals. I've driven around Roswell. I'm sure you have too. Mm-hmm. You've seen damage from the flood, and that's not a real quick fix. This is still ongoing.
Yeah.
This is what, 4 months into it now, and we still have homes that are uninhabitable and they still need to be repaired.
Yeah.
And I know folks in town have difficulty, finding an electrician, finding a plumber, finding welders, finding, machinist basically, and that's kind of what we've done in some regard with our agricultural mechanic program, where Loprino came out and said, we have a need for mechanics. We have a need out at the dairies for people that know how to work with their hands and do or just fix machinery. And so our agricultural program has an ag mech tech program, and it includes some ag classes. It also includes some welding classes and some other machinery courses. And so I think when we look at the needs of Chavez County right now with the recent flooding, again, it just is more emphasis for me on the skilled labor and skilled trades, plus, as you indicated, again, the healthcare industries. So when we're tech ed, that's the purpose of this potential mill levy increase, is to promote those types of programs to grow our campus and to allow us to meet those community needs locally.
And I hate to burst everyone's bubble, but we live in a pretty harsh climate. We live in the desert. Extreme things happen in the desert. We will have flooding again. We will have fires again. We will have extreme weather things again. It's not a question of if, but when. It's going to happen sometime. We need to be better prepared for this kind of stuff. And how do you do that? You get a better trained population base. People that, we need those electricians, carpenters, and nurses and skilled labor is such an asset. And there's nothing, and I know, and I almost would even philosophize a little bit, where you and I grew up in an era where, they steer people to academia. That's just, you go to college, you get your degree, the world's your oyster kind of thing. And that shift has changed drastically over the last 20 years. But I almost kind of wonder still if we are paying a little bit of a price of because we steered so many people to academia that we really are lacking skilled labor folks, because we didn't treat it with the, maybe the respect we should have a little bit on it. Does that make sense?
Well, I believe what you're saying, and with both of us coming out of the military, the Air Force, having that background, looking at, hey, you're going to come out and you're going to have a skill and you're going to learn how to do a job, and we're going to do that technical training with you. And I think on the college side and maybe the high school preparation side, there for a while, as you know, it was, are we going to prepare you to go to college?
Yeah.
And, I think, of course, our name is East New Mexico University Roswell.
Right.
And I think when we hear that name, it's like, well, not everybody has to go to college. And I always have to go back and say, well, now at the community college level, it's a little bit different story, because we're the ones here in New Mexico that are providing the training to get people to be that aviation technician or that electrician or that welder.
Well, and this is right, maybe, and again, I'm getting philosophical here, but in the big picture this is why I feel like we as maybe a nation need to spend more money investing into community college level colleges, places that are really a multi-purpose training facility, not trying to disrespect your Harvards and your, hired learning institutions that doesn't have an HVAC program. But I'm just saying that maybe we should invest more money into that. And I'm not trying to sound hoity-toity or bashing hoity-toity, but I feel like people in Harvard don't need my money. That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean? Whereas like Eastern New Mexico, where they're cranking out folks that can make an impact directly in our community right now, maybe we should invest more money in those types of universities and education. So that's the bee in the bonnet I'd leave with people, on some of this kind of stuff.
I appreciate that. And I don't want to discount for your degree, obviously. And, one of the things I've been doing in presentations, I did this with Leadership Roswell just last week. Of course, I advertised class 2019 as being the greatest class ever, as you know. The group was talking about, programming, and I brought out the old idea of a career ladder that balances community development and personal development, and looking at education versus workforce and what opportunities there are, and how a person has to move through the different different levels. So they graduate high school and they could go into an entry-level job, or they could go get a certificate at the community college and be a skilled laborer and then work and then get a degree and go back and forth between those two. And when I think about it, I just look at how a person can develop over the course of their career. And again, I talk about one of our students, I don't want to use his name, a graduate who was from the early college high school, and he graduated at age 18, and he did his A&P license, or frame and power plant license, that summer, got fully licensed by the FAA to be an A&P mechanic, got hired at a local maintenance repair organization. Now he's 19, and he's supervising 8 people because he's the one out there that has the license. And it's those opportunities that are available.
And now I'm going to take a guess. He may not be making like oil field money in the boom, but he's not far from it. And his job's way more secure than anybody down that oil field. Just saying. I'm not trying to, poo-poo that, but a 19-year-old kid making that kind of bank, the only thing you could probably compare that to is oil field work. And his job's way more secure than that.
And when I visited with him, we had a chance to talk a couple of months ago, and I brought out this community and career development program idea, and I showed him, hey, there are programs up at ENMU in aviation. You have this AMT degree with us, the associate degree. You could move on and get that 4-year degree, and it wouldn't take that much more effort. And I believe he could do most of those courses online because he doesn't want to disrupt his employment. But that's the nice thing about the relationship with the ENMU system and how our campus, the classes, all of them transfer over to Portales as long as they have reciprocal degrees. So our aviation programs go right into their bachelor's, and they even have a master's in aviation. And we talked about all of those things. On the healthcare side, same thing. We can produce individuals who have that associates. They can earn their RN, go to work, get their Bachelor of Science in Nursing through Portales. And that's an online program designed for working professionals. And then as they move forward, if they want to get a master's in nursing, they can become, work up to that director of nursing position, just kind of going back. It's just some opportunities that I want to make sure that we're meeting those basic needs for housing and for community well-being through the skilled and career ed, both health and tech ed.
I never thought of it from that way. That's an interesting perspective. And you're talking about the nursing program there. It's kind of, because, when you're younger, starting out, you kind of, I'm going to guess you got the more rogue, emergency mindset. Like you want the action, you want the, what the job is. You've been watching those doctor shows all the time, and that's what you're, when you got into nursing, you're thinking of those kind of things. But obviously, as your nursing career evolves, you kind of find your niches. I'm going to say you get promotions, and then you start to move into more of instead of the person doing the actual thing, you're in the administrative side and the ones guiding and leading, and so you can kind of use ENMUR as that. As your life progresses, you can kind of get your education and certifications you need along the way. And so when you're tired of doing the, working the hard ER stuff, and, when you get a little old and saying, man, my back hurts, I'm tired of doing this, I want to do something that maybe I'm not running around so much. And then you go to ENMUR, get the next certification that allows you to move on to that next level. And that's really what and that's the same thing with, we talk about nursing, but like you said, with other aspects as well, you can do that with your career here. So if you're folks, I'm going to even take a stab. If you're out there and you're kind of feeling like you're spinning your wheels at your job, or you kind of plateaued, maybe a talk with some counselors at NMR might kind of get you that certification, so you can stop spinning your wheels and move up to the next level here. So.
Sure. That's what we want to provide. Again, going back to meeting student and community needs, and it's a lifetime opportunity where folks can get started with us. They can earn a certificate, earn that associate's degree, and then get work experience. And as they move up through, back in the Air Force, we would call that the different skill levels.
That's right.
You're a 1, 3, 5, 7, or 9 skill level as you get more experience, more training.
Yeah, basically, just to pull back the curtain, 1 and 3, they don't leave you alone for nothing. 5, you're doing everything, and you're the one. And then the things from 7 and stuff roll down the hill to 5. So you strive to get to 5, only to get out of 5 because everyone keeps pooping on you, so you can get to 7. That's kind of how it works. Am I wrong?
Rank goes along with that too. The rank goes along with that as well.
That's
so.
right. But that's the Air Force perspective. It's kind of like you want to see the hardest working rank in the Air Force. It's the senior airmen. They're the ones that do all the work and get none of the glory.
Yeah, E4, E5, those are the ones.
That's right. But anyway, sorry, I got sidetracked here a little bit. But yeah, if you need those progressions, please reach out. And then conversely, like you said as well, maybe you're retired and like, look, I'm done earning paychecks. I'm just trying to, find new things in life to enjoy and experience. Maybe a class or two out at ENMUR might be that opportunity for you. So please don't forget. ENMUR has everything you need to try to get you to the next level of what you're trying to get to. But sometimes if you're just trying to smell the roses, ENMUR can help you do that too. So,
well, I appreciate that endorsement. And like I said, we're in the exploratory stages of looking at a mill levy for purposes of increasing health care and technical education, skilled laborers out in the Roswell, Chavez County area.
Well, I'm going to take a stab. Like you said, there's going to be some meetings coming up. And if people want to share thoughts and opinions, those will be those opportunities to do those. So
right. We'll get a lot of word out to the community and the county about it. Yes, sir.
Excellent. And of course, in the meantime, and then I know we started out the conversation, but don't forget, if you want to sign up for this next batch of 8-week classes, log on to the website right now, roswell.enmu.edu. If you're not registered with the campus, maybe go down for a visit and get registered. But if you're already a registered student, you can easily go online right now and sign up for those 8-week classes. They are limited in what they offer, but if you're looking to get ahead and these classes fall in your degree plan or whatever you're trying to achieve, this might get you a jump start on what you're trying to do. So definitely look into it. So good deal.
Well, thank you for letting me call in today from Santa Fe. I'll try to be with you in person next month when we're together and see where things are at after we get a little closer to the end of the session. It is a 60-day session, goes through March 22nd, and then the governor has till the 11th of April to sign off on any legislation.
Yeah, so he kind of. Hey, just real quick, since you're now kind of a veteran to Santa Fe, and as president of the college, I'm sure you get to spend a lot of time up there. Do you have a go-to restaurant or food place or any? I'm just curious. Do you have a staple or a staple place you hit every time you're in Santa Fe?
Well, there's so many restaurant options, here in Santa Fe.
Mm-hmm.
Culinary is a big thing. Tortilla Flats is one of the places that we go to. Tomasito's is another one that's close by. And just depends on what you're looking for in terms of the culinary experiences. But there's just lots of different options here in Santa Fe. But those are two that we usually try to hit when we're up here.
Good deal. Yeah, I know everyone usually has their favorites and stuff. I think I seem to remember there's also like a pizza joint somewhere right around the Roundhouse that everyone seems to be all in on too. Yeah,
there is a place called Upper Crust.
Yeah, okay.
And it's not too far from the Capitol, and they have some specials in there where you can get. Now we'll do a free advertisement for Upper Crust Pizza. So they have a special where you can get a drink, a salad, and a piece of pizza for like $8.
Okay.
And so when we're here with students or in a hurry to try to get back and forth,
sure,
that's a
good
place.
option.
They have good food there as well. Yes, sir.
Nice. But when you're down for a steak, then you go. But on the go, that's a good place to hit. Sounds like so. Excellent.
Right.
Well,
there's lots of steak too.
Lots of places. You're not going to leave hungry. That's if you did, it's your own fault kind of deal. So,
right.
Well, Dr. Powell's always appreciate the visit. Thank you for taking time to call us and do all this. I know you got a busy schedule, so we do appreciate that. And yes, we look forward to seeing you in person here next month. So don't matter of fact, and don't forget, for every piece of pizza, you're a military guy. You work out stuff, so that pizza will catch up to you. So, but
It does.
It does. Well, take care, Dr. Powell, and we'll see you next time. Okay.
Okay. Thank you for letting me call in. Take care. Have a great day.
Thank you. You do the same. Bye-bye. All right, that was Dr. Sean Powell at Eastern New Mexico University, Roswell. And like I said, to talk about that meal levy, they're exploring that. And I know because he kind of hits it, I know people get, and I get it. But I also look at the same time, I'm willing to spend money if it's money that's going to do good things. And, you know, we got plenty of it. Let's invest it in things that are actually going to make our communities better and help our people. And I feel like when you're doing things out of Eastern New Mexico University, Roswell, that's good things for people. So give it a thought. All right, 8:53. Let's do this. Let's pause for news, and maybe we'll work in sports and a quick commercial break as well. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Now for your Pecos Valley news update, I'm Jared Cirillo. AmeriCorps disaster response teams have been deployed to Chavez County to assist with critical cleanup needs following the October 2024 flooding event at the request of the New Mexico Department of Homeland Security and Emergency Management. Volunteers from AmeriCorps are available to assist with flood debris cleanup, including mucking and gutting, fence repair, sandbagging, roof tarping, or other cleanup activities during the final debris removal operations in the county. Residents can call the state's disaster case management line. That number is 505-670-4662. A bill that would bar oil and gas operations near schools is a step closer to moving to the full New Mexico House. The bill would also require companies to move existing drilling rigs and other facilities at least a mile away from any school building or playground. On Monday, the bill received favorable treatment in the House Energy, Environment, and Natural Resource Committee. That means it now moves to a second committee for debate and possible passage there. You're up to date. I'm Jared Cirillo.
It's time for the Chavez County Sports Report. We got some boys basketball scores to catch you up on from over the weekend. Roswell defeated Clovis 69-50 to move to 18-5 overall, 2-1 in district play. They'll get another crack at the district leader tonight against Hobbs. That's a home game for the Coyotes. Starts at 7. Hobbs is 20-3 overall. Meanwhile, Dexter will take on NMMI this evening at 6:30. A home game for the Demons. They lost Saturday to Gateway Christian 62-47. NMMI barely lost to Tularosa 51-49. Last night, Gateway Christian defeated Hagerman in Hagerman 60-55. That's a non-district contest. Gateway Christian back in action tonight against Floyd, and Hagerman will be at Tatum. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell's Talk FM 106.5.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We've got a low-pressure system moving north of us, and that'll cause gusty wind across the area today, up to 30 miles an hour. We will have sunshine, though, and fairly mild daytime highs in the upper 60s to low 70s. For the overnight hours, very windy with gusts around 40 miles an hour. Few clouds, and we're in the upper 30s, and then less windy on Wednesday, low 60s, and we should get sunshine. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Attention Roswell, the all-new Roswell Ford is back and open for business for service, parts, and sales at our dealership at 821 North Main Street. Our goal for 2025 is to make buying a new Ford and quality pre-owned vehicle super fun, super fast, and super easy. In fact, we'll give you the price we give to a friend or family member right up front. Bring us any trade in any condition. Don't even wash it. At Roswell Ford, all trades are welcome. Making payments on your current vehicle and want out early? We can help. We'll take your trade, even if you owe thousands more than it's worth. Worried about your credit? Don't sweat it. Roswell Ford has partnered with even more aggressive lenders, all with great rates and terms for good credit, no credit, and even bad credit, with rates as low as 0% APR. Plus, we have a great selection of low-mileage, one-owner pre-owned vehicles in prime condition, starting at just $10,000. Huge savings, exceptional trade-in values, and a better buying experience. Get on board at Roswell Ford, 821 North Main Street in beautiful Roswell, or online at roswellford.com. 0 APR for 48 months is $20.83 per thousand financed, plus tax, title, and license with approved credit.
So you've got questions about the birds and the bees? What would Jim Gill do?
Hi, this is Ben Manette with Roswell Seed Company. If Jim was here, he'd tell you that it's time to order your bees. You'll get a 3-pound box of live bees and a queen, and that's enough to start a hive. As for the birds, we're talking about baby chicks. Not only are they cute as can be, they'll soon be supplying your family with fresh eggs. So come see us at Roswell Seed and find out all about the birds and the bees.
Some wounds need expert care to heal properly. At Artesia General Hospital's Wound Care and Hyperbaric Medicine Center, we use advanced treatments like hyperbaric oxygen therapy to help chronic wounds heal faster. If you or a loved one has a wound that won't heal, call 575-736-8235 today and take the first step toward recovery.
Time to move into a new year at the Calico Cow Fabric and Gift Shop in Roswell. Valentine's fabrics are here and spring fabrics are arriving daily with a great selection of quilts, Valentine shirts, and rope bowls made right here at the Calico Cow. And Brothers sewing machines are on sale now. Plus, the Calico Cow can fix and perform maintenance on all brands. Out of town? Log on to RoswellQuilting.com to order. We ship direct. The Calico Cow Fabric and Gift Shop, 200 East College in Roswell. Want to know how? Come see the cow.
Take your career to the next level. If you have mechanical aptitude, the Crumlin Auto Group wants to talk to you. Make real money without driving to the oil field. Certified master technicians can earn up to $70 an hour. Entry-level technicians start at $20 an hour with free training and tools. The Crumlin Auto Group offers competitive wages, health insurance, a 401k, housing assistance, and a sign-on bonus of up to $20,000. You could be making over $150,000 a year. Apply today at KAGNM.com. KAGNM.com.
The great one, Mark Levin, is now in Roswell on 106.5 KEND Roswell.
And we're closing in on 9 o'clock. Town Hall News is up next. Stay tuned. Next hour, we're going to play our interview we had yesterday with Maureen McGinn talking about the Blackdom the day that they're having at the Roswell Public Library on Saturday. That's coming up next hour. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters. Thanks for listening.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. She is outraged. Republican Senator Marsha Blackburn of Tennessee upon learning that FEMA had spent tens of millions of dollars on
food and lodging for those that are illegally in the country, while at the same time we were fighting FEMA not to terminate temporary housing benefits for people that lost it all in a flood.
Blackburn, speaking with the Salem Radio Network, presidential advisor Elon Musk reports his DOGE team discovered $59 million had been spent on housing illegal aliens in New York City hotels. New York City Mayor Eric Adams may be off the hook.
Acting Deputy Attorney General Emil Bove told prosecutors in New York that they were directed to dismiss the bribery charges against Adams immediately. Bove said the order was not based on the strength of evidence in the case, but rather because it had been brought too close to Adams' re-election campaign and was distracting from the mayor's efforts to assist the Trump administration's law and order priorities. Julie Walker, New York.
Found amid a Hezbollah weapons stockpile that had been seized by Israel, humanitarian aid packages from USAID, that according to a report in the New York Post. Tulsi Gabbard one step closer to winning the job of National Intelligence Director, her nomination on its way to the full Senate for a final vote. The Mid-Atlantic region, and that includes Washington and Baltimore, preparing for another winter storm expected to arrive today, bringing snow and ice. Also impacted by the storm, parts of the Ohio Valley and Central Appalachians. So a lot of schools are dismissing early today or are closed entirely. Watching Wall Street this morning, stocks in positive territory now. The Dow is up 19 points, the NASDAQ ahead 4 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call Low Cost Airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals too.
Call 866-755-5300. That's 866-755-5300. Again, that's 866-755-5300. Call us right now.
Opening statements have been delivered in the trial of a man accused of attacking author Salman Rushdie in western New York State a few years ago.
Salman Rushdie is expected to testify during the trial and will come face-to-face with 26-year-old Hedi Matar, his alleged attacker, for the first time in more than 2 years. Prosecutor Jason Schmidt said Matar lunged a knife into Sir Salman over and over and over again. Defense lawyer Lynn Schaefer told jurors that prosecutors wanted them to believe the case was straightforward, but it wasn't. If convicted, Hedi Matar could face a maximum of 25 years in prison.
The BBC's Nada Tawfik says that Rushdie has now taken the stand, describing the knife attack in graphic detail. European Union Chief Ursula von der Leyen vows that the U.S. tariffs on steel and aluminum will not go unanswered and will trigger tough countermeasures from the 27-nation bloc. News and analysis at townhall.com. Bragg is back.
En route to Germany on Monday, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth signed a memorandum returning the original name of Fort Bragg to the military base in North Carolina. The renaming of Fort Bragg to Fort Liberty began amid the George Floyd protest in 2020. Congress established a commission to rename the bases named after Confederate figures, and the Biden Pentagon made the official name change from Fort Bragg to Fort Liberty in June of 2023. The name reversal now honors Army Private First Class Roland L. Bragg, a World War II veteran, awarded the Silver Star instead of General Braxton Bragg, for whom the base was originally named. Tasha Stevens reporting.
One person was killed, others injured in the collision of two private jets on the ground at the Scottsdale, Arizona airport. Of those injured, 2 were taken to trauma centers, 1 hospitalized in stable condition. The accident coming in the wake of 3 major U.S. aviation disasters the past 2 weeks. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The Travelician, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 3.
Crazy Viernes
of Mornings with Mike Winters right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Buenos Tuesday.
See.
Hope it's going well to all of you out there.
Had to just check in with my with some family. Had to make sure my sister was okay. Well, I don't know if you heard, but the Treasury's getting rid of the penny.
Yeah.
And
I'm laughing because his sister's named Penny. That's the joke.
So I told her, just to be on the safe side, you might want to slip an extra E in there behind or in front behind the Y, just to be safe. So. Yeah, everything's fine.
Yeah, that reminds me, in high school, there was a girl I knew. Her last name was Penny.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's not a common last name.
And I'm not joking. Her first name was Anita.
Oh, my God.
I'm not joking.
That's cruel. That is cruel and unusual punishment, and also great parenting.
I swear to God, I knew a girl in high school. Her name was Anita Penny.
That's awful. That's like if your last name was Hug and Kiss and you named your first child Amanda. That's awful.
Yeah, I also knew a Michael Hunt, too.
Wow.
I had a friend, his name. And he was a junior. His dad was Michael Hunt.
Well, that's why.
He saddled his kid
That's
with that, too.
why. He said, you know what? I've dealt with it for 47 years. It's on you, pal.
Yeah. I was like, man, like if I'm
The guy had an old dad.
like, I'm just saying, if that was my name, I'm not saddling my kid with that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, yeah, I'm not putting him through that. That's just not right.
Yeah, that's rough. If your last name is Hawk, don't name your first son Michael, okay? It's just cruel.
It's just not right. Yeah.
Then again, there are other ways to be cruel in naming your children. I've made the joke that my kid's mom picked out my daughter's name essentially, and then I picked out my son's name. It was a collaboration, but I kind of was the one floating most of the ideas for his name, and likewise for her. So my daughter's name, Rhiannon, is very complicated with it's two vowels next to two consonants next to two vowels. It's very complicated.
Yeah.
But then the other part of her name, her middle name, is another complicated where I'm not going to reveal on air because I don't want to, I'm not trying to like give out her social or anything. But basically,
it's 217.
But basically, it's like her goal was to give her all the syllables.
Yeah.
Every syllable possible. It's like too many. So, and by the way, I also never find anything with like her name on it on like a coffee mug.
I'm about to say that was always the rule of thumb for, and not that I have kids or any of that stuff, so it doesn't matter. But in my head, that was always the rule of thumb. I was like, I'm never not naming my kids something they can't buy on a coffee mug at a gift shop.
That being said, she does get a Fleetwood Mac song. I mean, that's fun.
Yeah. Well, and Rhiannon is not like a name that people have not heard of.
Yeah.
It's
not uncommon, although I can't tell you how many times that we've dealt with Rihanna.
Yeah.
Like, oh, is it Rihanna? No, it's Rhiannon.
Rhiannon. Well, people want to nickname it.
Well, she's got a few. It's generational too, because like younger adults, like younger professionals don't tend to know it, but like older folks, our age, a little older, they're like, oh, Fleetwood Mac. Gotcha. Yeah.
It's just anytime you have a name with 3 syllables, people need to abbreviate it some way.
Yeah. Well, she's had a few. Nannon is the one the most go to. So Nannon, and then I've always called her Nanners, just because that was my variation. So she's had a couple, but there's ones that we've intentionally avoided because her name is Rhiannon. We didn't want people to call her certain things, things like that.
What about Ann? Is that an acceptable nickname for Rhiannon?
Ann? I've heard people call her Annan.
Yeah.
Or Annie, I guess, maybe.
Yeah, maybe Annie. Hey, Annie. I kind of like that one.
Annie, but then again, I'm just so used to, to the way Rhiannon. I'm just so used to the way I say it. Plus, it's so good for discipline because you can really hit certain syllables.
Yeah, when you're yelling, that's the parent. And that's why when your parents yelled at me, or your parents yelled at me, when your parents yelled at me, they always said Michael. They never said Mike.
That's true. I remember when my dad used to yell at you, it was like, Michael. You always knew how much trouble you were in based on how many names they used.
Oh, yeah. Michael Patrick, when that rolled out, good night, Mikey. You're done ski.
Fun fact, my middle name is Adam, so it was Sean Adam. Just enough of those syllables, to hit. Again, 3 syllables seems to be perfect.
Like, both of our names could be good other names. Like, Sean Adam.
Yeah.
That's a wrestling name, man. Like,
Sean Adam.
Like you
you have to throw an S and be like Sean Adams.
Yeah, it'd have to be an S. And Michael Patrick.
Michael Patrick's a perfect commentator name.
Yeah. I could easily be a radio. That should have been my radio.
Right, Michael Patrick.
Yeah, that's what I should have gone with. Sorry, I got put on the spot when I asked what my radio name was. So,
And then there's people who are just born with like I don't know if Casey Kasem was his real name. I can't imagine it was.
No.
But there's others out there that like that's just their name.
Yeah.
Like it works perfect. Howard Stern is a perfect radio
that's
name.
His name. He's not.
And that's. I mean,
not Howard
he was born that way.
Or something. Yeah.
I am curious what Casey Kasem's real name is. So you want to?
Let's eat some. Let's eat some Oreos here.
Hold on.
Some Post Malone Oreos.
His real name is Casey Kasem.
Kasem.
Yeah.
Like Kason?
No. Okay. This is Kamal Amin.
That's his name.
That's his name. Kamal Amin. Casey Kasem was an American disc jockey. I guess he was like Jewish.
Was he Eastern or like Armenian or something?
Maybe Armenian. Let's see.
Something like that.
Casey Kasem.
Like those Eastern Bloc nations. Has he got heritage from that? Maybe. A name like that. Let's eat some Oreos.
Let's eat some Oreos while I'm looking for this. I'm going to crack these open. I'm going to
Every time we get to eat Oreos, you got some stupid dog dedication.
So these, if you don't remember from last hour, are he's American. Well, yeah, but
Oreo
Lebanese.
Post.
Lebanese.
Oh, Lebanese. Okay, yeah, that jives.
So this is a collaboration with Post Malone, country superstar, and Oreos, the Nabisco company.
Bud Light spokesperson.
Yes, Bud Light spokesperson.
Cheetos spokesperson. Doritos.
I remember his first country hit, White Iverson.
All right, but he's got these Oreo Post Malone, and they're described as Posties swirled salted caramel and shortbread flavor.
So that's caramel and cookie butter is the best way I can think to just, because shortbread, the only way you could describe shortbread is it's like cookie, but it's in cream form, so it's cookie butter.
Okay.
Heck yeah.
I definitely got the you know what? I smell Keebler when I smell it in that bag.
Oh man, that I smell diabetes.
Yeah, but I feel like I just opened a Keebler bag.
That's fantastic. Oh yeah, it's a golden Oreo on one side and a regular Oreo on the other.
I feel like that's a Keebler smell to me. Like you open a Fudge Stripes or something like that.
That made my jaw
that's a
twinge.
It's not a bad smell at all.
They have cool designs on them too. This it's a guitar pick. Whoops, and it says it's got Posty on it.
Jocelyn, you want to get a Post Malone Oreo here? Okay.
What is your design?
Mine's got a looks like a car.
Okay.
It looks like a pickup, actually.
No, that makes more sense. Now that he's gone country.
Yes. Yeah, it's a pickup.
Okay.
What'd you get?
What?
Oh, I got to turn Jocelyn's microphone.
No, it kind of looks like a record.
That makes sense. Is it? Oh yeah, it's like a vinyl record.
Vinyl record.
So I'm gonna take the top off here because mine's kind of partially broken. So I'm just to see the design.
The cream in it is the swirl cream.
Yep.
If you get on I don't know which camera you got on, but
we have the double.
It's more of like a yin yang on mine because it's got the shortbread cream on one side and the.
Does mine got a hidden message?
Does it?
Mine has a number 6.
Oh.
Or the number 9, depending on how you hold it.
There's a message in my alphabets. It says, ooh. Hey, those are Cheerios. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and give it a shot.
I'm going to put it back together to eat.
Uh-huh.
Because
it smells good.
Chocolate bread and a whatever shortbread.
Mm-hmm.
Vanilla, I don't know what flavor that is. So, all right.
That is wonderful.
That's good.
That is wonderful.
First off, it's Oreo, and Oreo has never screwed up. Ever, ever, ever.
I just got warm though when I ate it. It was I felt like fireplace or something almost.
That's good.
Wonderful.
You know what? First bite kind of just tasted like an Oreo.
Really?
But then as I started chewing and the cream mixed in there, I'm getting the caramel side.
So
That's
good.
the best part, I think, is that caramel, that filling.
I really like it, but this is one of the few Oreos that I could not eat the whole sleeve of box of. It's too rich.
Very rich.
It's
very
too
rich
to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's super sweet.
One or two of those and I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, literally like one or two, and I'm.
That's why I'm glad it only came in a 4-pack.
They are tasty, but those are not Oreos I could eat a whole box.
Right.
Like you give me some like regular Oreos or double stuffed or fudge filled.
It kind of tastes like a caramel coffee.
Right?
Like
I do kind of get some
coffee. I did get that little. I was thinking
flavor.
Coffee drink.
Like a coffee drink.
But it doesn't taste like coffee because I would have really been
like
revolted by that.
That first drink of like a caramel coffee.
By the way, I have speaking of cookies, I have a bit of a bone to pick.
I want some milk.
And I respect the organization. I respect everything they're about and what they do. Girl Scout cookies are outrageous now. I went to buy a box of Samoas.
Yeah.
I like the caramel delights. $6 a box now.
Yeah, they're expensive.
Now,
and
I'll
hold
say
on.
they're probably smaller too.
What they do is they put that plastic separation in between the cookies.
Yeah, there's less cookies.
You get like 12 cookies for that. I mean,
I think they changed up the box too.
Yeah,
it's not Girl Scouts
I respect
anymore.
the organization. I appreciate what you guys are doing, but come on.
They're iconic memory cookies, but yeah, the way of the world has kind of cheapened that experience a little bit.
But that being said, please support your local Girl Scouts. I mean, even though they're companies that makes the cookies
and I
outrageous.
like that they're getting money for Girl Scouts, and I know that the cookies get out there, but at the same time, I think we're oversaturating our Girl Scout. Like when I can buy anything that's like ice cream, candy bars. You can buy chocolate that's Girl Scout. I'm like, why don't you just buy the cookie if you're going to buy? Right. You're literally making a candy bar that's the cookie that's just now in a candy bar.
And you know that less of that money goes to the organization.
Exactly.
So.
It's the whatever company market.
Well, I noticed that when I was in, it was Big Lots, and they had the Thin Mint cookies, Girl Scouts. Before the Girl Scouts were selling
Are they the actual
cookies.
Girl Scout branded? Because I know that like Keebler
they're like
does
selling them in stores.
Yeah, Big Lots, and
that's
it was
a bit odd.
The Thin Mint cookies, but it wasn't. I don't know if it was through Girl Scout cookies.
And see, I don't like that either because that cuts into Girl Scout.
Yeah.
In theory.
Yeah.
That's why they're sitting in front of the grocery store with the table.
Yeah. So that's kind of taken away from those kids.
And if it was Big Lots, you probably got it at a discount.
Yeah.
So I mean,
I'd be very curious to see how much the Girl Scouts actually get from all the Girl Scout marketed food.
Yeah.
Like, because I think you get like chapsticks and all kinds of stuff that's like Girl Scout mint cookie flavored.
Yeah. So how much of it actually is?
There's a lot more than
Girl
just
Scouts.
a Google on this one, but I'll look into what the portion of the proceeds are.
I hope they ain't Bob Ross and the Girl Scouts.
Right.
Because
I feel like
you know when I talk about
like,
that one. Yeah.
Because they sell like a certain time around, right? Like it's only when they're out there.
They have a window in that they sell it each year. Yeah.
Okay, well, this says about 65 to 75% of the cost of a box of Girl Scout cookies stays in the local community. This is just the cookies themselves.
Good.
How the money spent, local council, troop, community projects, girl rewards, volunteer support, and financial
when you
assistance.
go to the grocery store and buy the Girl Scout flavored ice cream that's got
how much
Breyers
percentage
on it,
is going back to to them
or whoever,
if any?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm gonna say a percentage goes to Girl Scouts, the national brand, but I doubt any local troop ever sees anything when you buy a thing of ice cream with the Girl
Well,
Scout
with that
stuff.
being said, buy from your local Girl
There you go.
Scout.
Support your local Girl Scouts.
That's what I'm saying.
I have to do some more digging to find out how much of that percentage is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be curious, and that's well, and that's. I will also say this: if you're a person that contributes to charities and things like that, do your homework. Some of your big national organizations,
they take a lot off the top
them easily. At the end of the day, there is much smaller percentage of the money. Like you look at something like, I'm just going to state like a Red Cross, that type of thing. I'm going to take a stab that about 10 cents of every dollar actually goes to what you're saying. Whereas some other organizations, 90%, 99%. This is why I talk about, your food not bombs.
Food not bombs,
with many
100%.
hands.
Just
these local organizations where every single dime of what you donate goes to the intended purpose.
Absolutely.
Speaking of which, I wanted to, since we're doing that real quick, there is a With Many Hands is doing a Zoom meeting tonight.
Yes.
A community interest meeting. It's all done Zoom. If you like Many Hands Roswell Facebook page, there is a link to the Zoom meeting on there. I believe that's at 5:30.
Yes, 5:30. We'll have our Zoom meeting, and anybody can join on that Zoom call. We're actually doing a call we need volunteers for everything. With our funding, we're not sure what's really happening. So we need some. So
the wells are running dry in certain areas.
Yes.
That's been put up in the air for a lot of organizations. I imagine y'all's.
So we're doing that call to call out for a bunch of things.
Where demand has increased, the flow of resources have decreased.
Yes. Yes. So we don't know what's going to happen with our funding for the rehab. For the housing.
Yeah, that's what we're kind of working on, trying to get get these people off the streets, get them into a hive-like facility where they can stay, get back into society, so to speak, and then build a foundation to be independent living human beings.
Right. And actually Dan Jennings is in Santa Fe today, trying to talk to them about funding and things like that.
Good.
So we're
tis the season.
Yes.
A lot of bushes. So.
Yes.
But there is it's a Zoom meeting, so you can do it in your underpants.
Yes. You don't even have to be on camera.
Just dress. It's the mullet attire. Business on top, party on the bottom.
I will say. Pro tip: if you're gonna drink, make sure to turn the camera off in the times that you're taking a sip of wine or whatever it is.
Yeah.
You don't want to be that guy.
Don't be that.
Speaking as a member of a board for a while, you have to know which buttons to push at which times.
But it's 5:30, and again, I encourage you to like and follow with Many Hands Roswell.
Yes.
But on and I think they pinned it. It's right there towards the top.
Yep.
There's a link to the Zoom meeting, but it's 5:30 tonight, and it kind of also gives you a synopsis of what they're talking about, giving you
Right.
updates. I think there's some representatives that are going to give some updates.
We're
things.
we're gonna talk about Food.Bombs is gonna talk about what's going on with our stuff and
Okay.
where we're kind of headed. I know we're talking about the rehab to rentals.
Mhm.
Also, we're trying to get bus passes for people.
Yeah.
I know Scott Fricchetti from the transit center is going to be on there about.
Oh, good.
So we're trying to get bus
some of those
passes out and stuff like that for people.
Because that's key. If you can, because sometimes, especially for homeless, there's resources north of town, but not where they're at
Yes.
downtown or
Yes.
south of town.
We have had a big call for bus
Yeah.
passes. Nicole Scarpa has
Yeah.
actually kind of headed that thing, trying to get bus passes because the bus station will match us if you pay for bus passes, they will
double.
match us.
Yeah, so
They will
your
double it.
donation counts double.
Yes.
That's awesome.
That's great.
But again, tune into the meeting tonight,
Yes,
learn more
5:30.
about this, see if you can get involved, and certainly if you're folks needing resources and stuff,
Yes.
tune in as well. I would like to share. I would like to think that if we get some people sharing their needs on these type of things,
Yes.
share the impact of what we're talking about. This isn't about people just needing food and trying to take advantage of things.
Right.
These are people that some resources have dried up. The wells. We're in that part again, like when when the fires in Rio Doce happened, we had this influx
Yep.
of refugees, for lack
Yes.
of a better term. And after a week, everyone sees to their needs, but the refugees don't go away because guess
Right.
what? They still have no place to go. But it's now out in the spotlight, so they're just sitting in parking lots waiting for people to help them or waiting for something to happen. And we're now in that part of our flood right now.
And we do have a huge influx of people that are kind of stranded because of floods here, because
Yeah.
of fires still.
We're
They
still
can't
picking
in
up
here.
pieces
So
from
yeah,
exactly.
So we're,
But it seems like if the need's not right in people's face, they tend to forget.
Exactly.
Yep, exactly. So please zoom in to this meeting.
5:30 Zoom meeting.
Yeah.
You don't have to be on camera,
Yeah.
but we would like
Yeah,
input.
you can use the obligatory.
But we need input even if you need help. If you don't need help,
Yeah.
we're trying to
Or at
reach
least
out. So.
listen in and hear what's going on in your own
Yeah.
community.
Yeah.
Hear what's talking about. Hear what what you don't hear about. In newspapers and in
Right.
city council meetings and things like that.
Yeah.
So, very good.
Cool. Thank you, Mike.
guys. And thank you for the cookies. They're pretty. That's why I got all that rant, got all that sugar coursing through my veins.
Mike's gonna crash hard about
I got a Post
10:45.
Malone rant.
Mike's about to be post Sugar Rush.
About to cornhole you guys. All right.
Hey man, you stay away.
All right, it's 9:25. We're gonna do some weather and a quick break. Then we're gonna play our interview talking about the big Blackdom event that's going to be happening at the library here on Saturday. Information, really cool thing. So anyway, all that's coming up after this break. Don't go away.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We've got a low-pressure system moving north of us, and that'll cause gusty wind across the area today, up to 30 miles an hour. We will have sunshine, though, and fairly mild daytime highs in the upper 60s to low 70s. Well, the overnight hours, very windy with gusts around 40 miles an hour. A few clouds, and we're in the upper 30s, and then less windy on Wednesday, low 60s, and we shall get sunshine. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Hi everyone, this is Melanie from Glenn's Furniture. Valentine's Day has been a time-honored tradition of expressing love and affection for the wonderful people in our lives. Why not honor them with the comfort and new smells of furniture from Glenn's? Leather, wood, and luxurious fabrics are beautiful reminders of how much they are loved for many years to come. Skip the roses and chocolates this year and give gifts that last. Come see us at Glenn's for Valentine's Day on the corner of Union and Alameda, where delivery is free since 1953.
So you've got questions about the birds and the bees? What would Jim Gill do?
Hi, this is Ben Manette with Roswell Seed Company. If Jim was here, he'd tell you that it's time to order your bees. You'll get a 3-pound box of live bees and a queen, and that's enough to start a hive. As for the birds, we're talking about baby chicks. Not only are they cute as can be, they'll soon be supplying your family with fresh eggs. So come see us at Roswell Seed and find out all about the birds and the bees.
Hi, I'm Chef Anthony Noble at the Valley Cafe located at 801 West Brasher in Roswell. We want to welcome you for dinner 5 to 8 p.m. weekdays, except Wednesday we close at 2 p.m. If you haven't tried our food yet, I hope you come try one of our dinner entrees, pasta, soups, salads, burgers, and sandwiches, and our weekly specials as well. Let me make you great dinner. Visit the Valley Cafe at 801 West Brasher, the Orange Building across from Church on the Move in Roswell.
Can't see us in person? Find our full menu on DoorDash, Grubhub, and Uber Eats.
How do you find a roofing contractor you can trust? You can randomly pick one, cross your fingers and hope for the best, or maybe you can ask a psychic to predict who's trustworthy. Here's a better idea. Choose one who prefers using America's most trusted roofing brand, Owens Corning. And rest easy, because Owens Corning screens their contractors for reliability, professionalism, and customer service. Why take any chances? Owens Corning, trusted contractors, proven products. For an Owens Corning preferred contractor, visit owenscorning.com/roofing.
For a free estimate, give Do Right Roofing a call today, 575-623-2273.
Find them fast in names and numbers.
Playing dance music can help ward off mosquitoes. Now you have a reason to invite Pitbull to your next pool party. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 21 minutes after 8 o'clock, and joining us back in studio, been a minute, but we have joining us Maureen McGinn here to talk about the big event happening this Saturday at the Roswell
Good
Public
morning,
Library.
Mike. Yeah.
Good morning. How are you today?
Just great. I'm freezing on the edges, but it's great.
Well, we got the window closed. Hopefully that'll it gets a little stuffy in this office without that. But of course, for folks that aren't aware, or I think everybody should be aware, but the month of February is Black History Month. And,
sure enough.
And you know, this is a month that we use to celebrate Black history, but also to learn it, to educate all people on, you know, the history and where if you always want to see how things work in today's world, you want to know why I got there, look at your history. There's a reason why things are done. And
so, we have so much Black history here that a lot of people don't even really know about.
And that's what I think, because to be honest, when I think of Black history and slaves and a lot of the stuff we talk about, we think of back east. You know, your South Carolinas, North Carolinas, Georgia, you know, Alabama, maybe into Texas a little bit. We don't think of New Mexico. We don't think of out west here. We think this was mostly still, you know, Native Americans running wild and not a lot of what was going on back east going on here, you know, but it was, and there was a lot of that stuff.
Well, so kind of how Blackdom for me got started was I was doing research on a black cowboy that was really well liked by a lot of ranchers. I found out he got married.
Okay.
And I was trying to find out, how did that woman show up here? Then somebody mentioned Blackdom.
Okay.
Probably she came from, I said, Blackdom, what is that? And nobody knew where it was. And it took me probably 4 or 5 years to finally locate it. It's 18 miles south of town.
Okay.
And there's probably, 15,000 acres or so that was homesteaded by people. And the originator, he came out of Georgia.
Okay.
He was a professor there at a black college and was trying to get away from the Klan stuff.
Gotcha.
And Jim Crow laws.
So there's kind of like, think of it like the Pilgrims coming to Mayflower or, you know, Plymouth Rock, and, you know, they're coming for religious freedoms.
Exactly.
Blackdom was kind of coming for personal life freedoms.
Well, his daddy was in the Mexican-American War, was a wagoneer.
Gotcha.
He saw the Llano Estacado, the plains up here, and thought, look at all that land. And when they were doing the Homestead Act, that was free land for them to come and have a community of their own and regulate their own.
When you say the Wild West, we tamed it, but that was it. We were exploring, mankind was coming in droves and looking for opportunity out west. And some were looking for gold and things. Others were looking for just a new way of life. And like you said, for some that were oppressed and things back east, they're looking for a new start out west.
That's
looking to start their own family. They're 10 acres of land and their horse and mule, and, they're looking for their stake in world. That's,
you bet.
That's what they're looking for.
You bet. So what was neat about all this is I started to do research on Blackdom. And so for 25 years, I went out and looked around and walked around all the grounds and the different foundations that I found out there and found some artifacts. And I thought, wow. And so I just started marking them and what they were. And after 25 years, you get a lot of stuff. And I thought, I think it would be neat to share this with people.
Now you got enough to say, maybe I could, start, instead of them coming to my house, maybe we can bring it to the people here.
Well, and it's funny, some of the family descendants from California were out trying to find Blackton. And they called one of their cousins that I had been in contact with in Colorado.
Okay.
And said, where is it? We've been here 10 days. We can't find it. And he said, call Maureen. She knows right where it's at. I've told her. So they called me. I took him out there.
And there's a marker and everything.
There is a marker.
I mean, it's not a whole lot of, bells and whistles saying, here it is right here. But there is like your New Mexico historical markers that you see all over the state. There's one when they're marking it. But those are easy to miss if you're not paying attention.
Yep, it's right on the highway going from Roswell to Artesia. So anyway, so we took them down there and they just we drove on the farm and they just wept when they got to their grandfather's homestead.
So they had family there. And they found, I guess, the spot?
There's ruins there, but, as they looked around, they found a World War I button. They go, oh, my grandfather was in that. And they found a button on the, they were finding stuff.
What are the odds?
Yeah. Old Model 8 car broken down.
Sure, your eyes were getting a little sweaty seeing these things.
I know. It did. It touched me a lot.
Sweaty out here.
So when I ended up finding photographs, and there's a lot of descendants that stayed in Roswell. When it dried up out there because of no water, I think the last descendants, the ancestors that left were in 1940.
Okay.
And then a bunch of the original families moved, still had the dream. They still, even though they didn't have water there and stuff was drying up and they were not going to be able to make it, they moved to Vado, which is south by Cruces.
Okay.
On the Rio Grande. This time they were right where the water was. And to this day, they have.
They still have their.
They do reunions.
Descendants and family that come down to there.
They do Blackton reunions there. It got 400 and something people that still go. That
great.
Live there.
I love that.
So that's pretty cool.
That is cool. Well, maybe they'll make a venture out back our way, and maybe they got some roots that can bring those generations that said, we do have a few generations that spent time down in the more eastern part of the state during that time.
Yeah. What's neat is PBS came and did a documentary with the grandson of the founder of all this down there.
Oh, wow.
And so what we've got on as far as artifacts are concerned, there's court records. We have written interviews of people that we've talked to that either were born there
or descended
from their close. Yep. We have 100-year-old advertisements for people to look at. We have copies of the pioneers' property deeds.
Oh, wow.
We've got old newspaper articles.
That's
books.
funny. Regardless of your knowledge or that of the Blackton thing, I'm just a fan of looking through old documents and things. Regardless of what it's about, just to seeing how the sausage was made 100 years ago is kind of nice for me.
I know, me too.
I kind of like that. So.
If you like history, you're really going to enjoy the presentation. At 1:30, we're doing the PBS presentation.
The documentary.
It goes about 40 minutes.
Okay.
And then in between that and 3:30, we're going to show it again at 3:30. But at 2:30, Helen Wakefield is the president of the Blackton Collaboration for the memorial they're building here in town.
Yes. Okay. Good.
And so she's going to give us an update.
Excellent.
At 2:30 on how that's going.
Good. Well, hopefully we do all the bells and whistles and bring out all the red coats and the red tape and the mayors and the keys to the city and all that good stuff.
Absolutely.
When that dedication happens.
And the city has been super behind it.
Good.
That's what's a neat deal too.
I love the history. And I don't have any time. And and this is the thing that people don't get about Roswell, and I'm not native. I've been here for 25 years, since 2000 now, so I've been here a piece, but I'm not native to here. But the one thing you don't realize how vast this history is here. Like you said, the Blackton stuff here, but even the World War II with the POW stuff.
I know it.
It is. Yeah, you don't realize how unique that kind of stuff is. And I grew up in the D.C. area. I grew up in where you can throw a rock and hit something historical. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so when I came out here, I'm like, shoot, you can go an hour this way and get all the Lincoln County War and Billy the Kid history and all of that stuff that you see in the Western movies. Then you go an hour in this direction and you're getting, the earliest forms of man ever recorded here with some of our natives, hunting grounds and buffalo and some of that stuff. And of course you go out like to Bitter Lake and see some of those buffalo hunting stuff. And then you go and say, oh, by the way, that's all New Deal stuff from the Depression era. That's history right there,
Yeah.
And then you get to the Blackton camps and things. Most people, all we know about is something allegedly crashed out in the desert about 30 miles, 50 miles, where it was up north of here. And we all come and do a thing, which is cool, awesome, come for that. But then you come here and you realize, look, no, we got world. You do realize if you were on a B-17 crew during World War II, you probably spent time sitting in Roswell, New Mexico, learning how to do your job.
There you go. Yeah.
And this is the kind of history you have. And Blackton's just another layer of that rich history that's part of Roswell, New Mexico, and this part of the world.
And the Roswell Public Library, where they're going to host it for us in the Bondurant room, but they have been super supportive. I mean, in every way. And so it gave us the whole room to set up all this. There's so many things to look at when you come for this. I think it's going to be super enjoyable. But every peoples have history. Whether you're the Bosque Redondo Apaches, whether you're black or you're white or you're Irish, you've got history because it's a people group and they stuck together, tried to for camaraderie and for encouragement. There's history with them.
Well, and I would say just because we create such unique history just because of the world we live in. In New Mexico, let's face it, for the settlers, for the people that built this country, New Mexico is not the most forgiving climate in the world. This is not climate built for people, you had to come, with sharp teeth to make it in New Mexico. With our extreme, you can go an hour one direction and you're a foot of snow, and then you go an hour another direction, it's 100, 103 out.
See, now that's an excellent point because this people started this with no water.
Yeah. And that's just another thing,
so they had to haul water.
I'm going to take a stab in. They were able to get this land because it probably was deemed not useful to many other people. And so, you know what I mean? It was, I'm going to take a stab that, it's kind of like with the natives and how you put them on the various, it was put in like generally land.
Think about this. They lasted 40 years with that very thought.
Exactly.
How do you do that?
Exactly. Like I'm saying, they weren't given it's kind of like if you look at the culinary culture for soul food and things like that, a lot of that's coming from slaves, and that's why pigs feed, and because if you look at the history, these were the cuts of meat that were coming to their families, and they were turning it into, they were basically making lemonade out of this stuff.
Absolutely,
yeah. So it's a sense memory, isn't it? And so that's why soul food, I'm a big fan of it, but that's why you think it's the intestines and it's the lesser cuts of your pigs and your beef, because that's what got to them. And so, and that's what and it's no different with other history. When you look at, everything you do and see today, and everything, and how you wear your clothes and how you sit a certain way and the things you put in your body and all that, it's all from some kind of your culture.
You bet. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what I love about this. And I think that's why if you come out on Saturday to the library here and check this out, you're going to
1 to 4.
Yeah, 1 to 4 p.m. Again, it's at the Bondurant room. Yeah. I'm going to take a stab. Usually when there's events like this, usually the Friends of the Library puts out a little spread of coffee and cookies and things like that for stuff like that. So, but usually there's some things to nosh on. But I'm telling you,
excuse me, Mike. We're having a children's interactive corner this year.
Okay.
Last year was our first year to do this. This is the second year because we have, children need to understand this history here.
This is, to be honest, and this is where kind of I was talking with you a little bit about my own personal, like when I think of Black History Month and things, I remember when I was in elementary school and we got to go on a field trip, and it's still, and I'm going to say this was third grade, second grade. I'm going to know it's at least third grade I'm going to say third grade. And it still impacts me to this day. As I got a chance to go, we went out to a plantation that was, during the 1800s. This was a working plantation in southern Maryland, and now it's an educational thing. But I got to see really what like you saw where the slaves, quote unquote, their living quarters were, their lifestyle. You see the tools they used. You see the equipment, the shackles, the things that were used to keep them, restrained, things like that.
Shame on us.
It is, and to see this stuff and now I'm seeing it from my third grade brain and seeing some of the balls and chains for punishments and things like that. It was an eye-opening experience, but I also learned too that because history is everything, and each plantation was different based on the people that ran it.
That's right. Yeah.
When you have quote unquote good people, they probably treated it more like where there was almost an indentured servitude, where some of the slaves may actually have a stake in the work and things, and so that worked. But a lot of times you had your this is strictly property, and it was chattel, and they go to the slave auctions, and they're soaping them up and making them look as presentable as possible for auction, and they literally treated them like cattle or pigs or any other livestock.
So what we're celebrating though now is the other side of that,
right?
Where these people,
and I don't get down a rabbit hole, but that was what opened my eyes.
Coming, yeah.
And so you're seeing the result of that.
Yes.
You're seeing the years of emancipation.
Yes.
The 13th Amendment. Just because there's a piece of paper saying they're free doesn't mean people are willing to give them that opportunity. And that's where, and this is where the part of history where you're getting to study here is okay, now that we freed the slaves, what happens next?
So Boyer, who was the founder, couldn't get a train ticket. So he walked 1,000 miles out here with his brother-in-law, and they got a place in Dexter and homesteaded that. They had 160 acres, and they started sending out newspaper articles to invite people from Mississippi, from Georgia, from Alabama. If you're tired of Jim Crow, come out here and start a new life.
Yeah.
And that's how they ended up with, the writings are that they ended up with about 25 families. So there was a total of about 300 and something people that homesteaded out there. And to get water, Diamond A Ranch, who bordered them, allowed them to go ahead and in their windmill, go ahead and bring their wagons with barrels. And one guy would just do that all day long.
Wow.
Just fill up those barrels, haul it back to people, and for water, for crop, whatever they were raising.
You know how hard that
livestock.
is? That's a hard life.
Whew. I mean, resiliency is something else, as it brings on a whole new definition to all that.
But it's kind of neat to see that there was still that neighborly mindset despite the world we lived in. And let's face it, the politics of the world at that time, it was, black and white. It was not, people didn't get along and people didn't.
Except that, and that's what started me on this whole venture in the first place, was finding that.
So you knew people.
Black cowboy, his name was Addison Jones, and he had, this is kind of it's off a little bit, but it's such a good rapport with ranchers, helping them with cattle drives. He was such a good cowboy. 19 ranches sent him a wedding gift to the depot, and it was wood cook stoves. 19 for him and his wife.
So he'd have he had plenty of place to cook after all that. But that kind of but that's the West way, or that's kind of that hard work. It's like, okay, they're going to look at you different, but when you prove that you're, worth your salt, then they don't care. You know what I mean? You're contributing, and that's where I think is what happens is and you get out here, and of course the outside looking in, everybody's different. Stay away from me because you look different. You don't talk like I do. You don't look like I do. And then at the end of the day, you realize you're similar and everything. And that's kind of what happens is you find out there's more in common because guess what? That person wants the same as you do. They want a happy life. They want a great opportunity for themselves and their family, just like you do. And once you read that.
I brought a picture for you, too, to look at. There's a book by the Dexter Old Timers called As We Remembered It.
Okay.
And that is actual pictures of a home in Blackdom.
Okay. And this was what time? This is 1917 time, so right around
the early 1900s. Their plat map, they had a town. It's all recorded down here at the courthouse. It is awesome. And then outside of the town square, they have all the, the homesteads going on. So this stuff is.
I love that. I do they do is there people that do digs and stuff out there on a regular basis, or just folks like you that come out there? It's pretty protected.
It's now subdivided quite a bit.
Okay, I didn't know if there was like a National Geographic or some kind of entity like that gets turned loose.
PBS documentary is as close as we're going to get, and there still are people who are descendants here who own property around out there.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so like a section of land they'll own still. But that kind of thing is, it's just neat to try to get talking with them and see what they're going to do with it or what are their plans. A lot of them don't know and they're just hanging on to it because it's their heritage.
Sure.
So.
But I'm just curious with your own collection and things and stuff. Are you getting to a point where maybe, like you said, we're at a point where we can do a presentation at the library here.
Come and look.
And come see it this Saturday here. But, I mean, is it growing to a point where maybe we need to start a thing at the museum or something where there's
eventually, you bet.
A Blackdom.
That's a good point.
Wing or
we should because that kind of stuff is lost if it's not shared.
Absolutely, it's got to be preserved. Maybe talk with our historical society. I don't know if you talk with Amy, and she'll be a next hour. But that might be an avenue too to talk a little bit about it.
That'd be awesome.
But we're having
a question and answer time. Anybody who has anything about Blackdom that they know, I wish they would come and tell me because
I would love if there is someone listening that is a descendant or a family member or has some, please come out to the library on Saturday. We would love to hear your story or hear your experiences. I'm sure Maureen would definitely love to pick your brain for a little bit here.
Yes, I would.
But yeah, we would love, because I got to imagine there is someone listening, something in the area that they're attached to, their family was part of this. That great grandma or grandpa or somebody was associated with this, or they've got maybe photos or their own relics from that time, family heirlooms and things from that area that we don't want them, but we'd love to see them and maybe get to learn a little history.
Learn some more history. You bet. That'd be awesome.
And to be honest, especially when you get into the study of really people and personal. Like we know dates and events and who, but we really the inner goings on and the rise and fall of it, at the high water.
So let me tell you one really neat story, just exactly what you're saying. I'm glad you brought that up, Mike. I built a chuck wagon.
Okay.
So I'd always go to anybody who had a wagon in their yard, no matter how old, I'd go and take pictures to make sure I was staying authentic.
Sure, keeping it right the way, yeah.
And I went to this one place and found a wagon, and I went to the door, and this old guy was in there. He was on oxygen. He was watching the Westerns, And so I was asking him if I could get a picture of that wagon. He said, well, sure, come on in, sit down for a minute. And so and we got to visiting, and he said, we ranched right here south of town. My brother and I used to come across a place called Blackdom.
Okay.
And I said, Blackdom? You know about Blackdom? He goes, we used to ride our horses to Roswell and cross the land. And always Uncle Rags and Aunt Molly, she'd call us in for pie and coffee. And we were just little 10-year-old kids, But we'd stop. And she made the best pie. And I said, it's a family. It's the family that I was connected to in Colorado.
You don't realize
California.
how it's all small world and close and everything is, connected. It seems like in some weird way, shape, or form.
So when I went out there, the two things in one of my days of looking around, two things that I found on the Ragsdale property was the coffee pot And the pie pan.
Ah, that's a bit poetic. I don't know. I feel like there's some divine intervention there. I feel like the Lord sent a little message or saying, I feel like that, or God's just kind of confirming your path.
Absolutely.
I believe truly those are those.
And you know what? The school and the church that they had built down there, of course, it was a combination deal, and they had a post office and a general store, which some of the building came up to Roswell and was over here on Montana.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, they turned it into a home.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, it's there's just a lot of stuff that's just pretty neat.
Yeah. This is where I want to say, folks, if you've got time this Saturday, make time to come on down to the Roswell Public Library. It's a free event. Doesn't cost you anything. It's from 1 to 4 at the library. It's in the Bondurant room.
Yeah.
And it's going to be Blackdom's Legacy Day. And like you said, during it kind of is come and go, but like if you want to see the PBS documentary, there's going to be 2 airings right there.
1:30 and 3:30.
Yeah, so one kind of at the beginning and one towards the end of the event. And of course, if you want to catch some of the different, the relics and artifacts and talking with
Maureen.
You
get to see those.
That you can kind of do anytime.
Get to hear about the memorial update and stuff. So, yeah.
But I think you definitely, I would try to get there at least for definitely so you can, especially if you don't know the real history of the Blackdom, I highly recommend you check out the PBS special, or I'm sure if you want, I'm sure you can probably find it online somewhere and watch it before then. And then if you come on out and you want to talk with Maureen and talk a little bit more about it, if you want to,
and if you have kids, bring them, because this is a great eye candy for them to understand some of this stuff.
And I'm telling you right now, to get these kinds of things, to see the younger, like that's what I was kind of getting back to because I saw what I saw when I saw it, it had much bigger impact for me. Now, granted, I was blessed because I lived in the place where it happened, and people that live where the history happens take it for granted, and I didn't realize that until I left it. You growing up in D.C. and growing up in that area, there's so much history and so much, and you do get a little nose blind to it as you live there. But I'm like, by the way, this historical event took place 5 miles up here. And this is where I was telling you a little bit about Dr. Mudd and where I grew up there. When I was like 16, 17, 18, I worked in this meat room and warehouse place. It was right across the house from the Mary Surratt house. Now, if you know who Mary Surratt is, Mary Surratt was one of the Lincoln conspirators. Like when they hung, have you ever seen when they hung the Lincoln conspirators there in D.C.? One of them was a female, Mary Surratt. She was, and to be honest, most think that she was not involved. Her son, John Surratt, was. They just happened to meet at her home in Clinton, Maryland there, Surrattsville at the time. Now called Clinton, but anyway, that's the kind of history and I worked right across the street from
that. And you remember all that from a kid?
Well, because I'm just a history buff, and that's fine. Like literally, when I was in Boy Scouts, we'd go and whitewash the Dr. Mudd house fence during the summer, and it was whitewash. It ain't white paint. It was the old school whitewash, the techniques, and that's how I learned how to whitewash in Boy Scouts and stuff. But that was the history, and so I grew up, and so that's why I think Saturday's so cool is get your chance, and like you said, young ones, give them a chance to see what life was like in their own backyard growing up here, and see how people that came before them, how they navigated life here in our area, and think, this isn't much about Black history, but it's also as much about human
resilience, life,
and the harshities of the West, and people trying to make their way in that stuff. And that's what and it makes you think so much about the mindset of the folks that were involved because of what they're coming from and dealing with, the bigotry and the, slave and that's just it is, there wasn't this like slavery ended and everyone said, oh, great, kumbaya for everybody. No, most people weren't willing to give Black people a chance and get jobs, and they're going to work for less, and they're going to take our jobs. There was all that vitriol still going on in the world, and to this day in some points. But that's. And so that's what you're saying. It's like they were willing to go from what was the comforts of the East because they're so sick of that, and they're really to live in the harsh conditions of Southeast New Mexico to make their way in life, and they did it. They did it for a long time, and so this is why we celebrate that. And so come out Saturday from 1 to 4. Come learn the history. Come, you never know, you might open it. And I'm hoping what happens is you probably get like with Maureen. you get a bug bit a little bit. Like you kind of see something, and then you go down the rabbit hole looking for more. Next thing you know, you're giving lectures at the library on a Saturday. Am I right?
Oh, man.
That's what I'm hoping happens, is we get some of that too. So, but Maureen, is there anything we wanted to cover that we just got sidebarred on, or do we get it all?
No, just that we have a special book for the children. It's a coloring book of the historical stuff they did.
Okay.
So they can go and color. They can come and color.
Sure.
While kind of the adult stuff is doing.
Sure.
They can
learn
do
at
that,
their own level.
and they can learn at their own level and take it home with them.
And you don't realize that the sense memories are great. Like that whole story I said, and they're going to be kids. They're going to be coloring here, and it's going to trigger, and they're going to see something down the road on Blackton, and be like, oh, I remember, and then it,
yeah, exactly.
Thing goes.
If you look on Google Earth, you can see the original buggy tracks still that go diagonally across the countryside. And Uncle Rags and Aunt Molly, same couple, she worked for a doctor in Dexter, and he'd take her in and he'd do odd jobs there while she was working, and they would come back.
Come down that same trail.
And and I found that out. Everybody has a little piece of information, and when you go and check it out and look and get that kind of verification, it's like, wow, you know, it's pretty neat. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I've told this story before. I'll tell it real quick. We got to go. But one of those moments for me like that was, again, being grown up where I went and got a chance to visit in the battlefield for Antietam, Civil War, the bloodiest single day of the Civil War. That's in Maryland. So I got to go to that battle site and tour it. Well, that battle, the way it went down in like 3 phases. There was a morning phase in the cornfield, but by the end of the day, the third phase of the battle shifted down to this stone bridge, which is now later today called Burnside Bridge because it's named after the general that defended it, General Burnside, and everything else. But anyway, that was the kind of the climax, the end of the battle was there at this bridge. Well, I was there at that bridge, there and seeing it, and there at the battlefield. And right there by the bridge, there's a placard, talking about what took place there. And then there's a picture taken like a day after the battle right there of the same bridge and all that. So
I'm John Scott. A winter this is heading to the mid-Atlantic region with forecast of heavy snow and ice accumulations, prompting warnings of potential power outages. The National Weather Service